I bet big on vibes, got emotionally scarred. Told my broker I'm broke, he said play it hard. Wrote a will in a Discord full of bag holders, trading trauma like Pokemon, just older. I call it long-term hold, but it's rot in disguise. My net worth's a prank, my debt super size, a spreadsheet of shame and a lactate addiction. Living off vibes and a high-risk conviction. You should've sold it. I know, dude, it's over. Let it go, let it go. I'm a walking red candle in a suit made of cold. Swing trading my sanity, no rope, just hope. Every dip I just dive, no plan, just vibes. If I charted my life, it's a bearish slide. I put the fun in fundamental flaw. Got a PhD in buying top and eating drawdown raw. Yeah, my 9 to 5, so watch list dream, but I clock in late to a panic scream. Got 3 monitors glowing like a 10 in bed. I stare at green ticks, but I'm always red. I treat YouTube gurus like oracles of fate, till I'm 3 puts deep and it's way too late. I got trading view tabs and no actual gains, just graphs of regret and invisible chains. I talk to my charts like a long lost dad. Why'd you break out and never come back? Maybe next week. Yeah, and pigs might fly.
You could've stopped at break even.
But I'm not that guy. I'm a walking red candle in a suit made of cold. Swing trading my sanity, no rope, just hope. Every dip I just dive, no plan, just vibes. If I charted my life, it's a bearish slide. I put the fun in fundamental flaw. Got a PhD in buying top and eating drawdown raw. Yeah, my 9 to 5, so watch list dream, but I clock in late to a panic scream. I pray to the pre-market gap up gods, then watch it dump like it's rigged by frauds. My whole portfolio's a performance piece. Call it D-Gen and D-minor starring me.
He's coping loud.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Should we stage an intervention?
Only if it's a short squeeze ply. I'm a walking red candle in a suit made of cold. Swing trading my sanity, no rope, just hope. Every dip I just dive, no plan, just vibes. If I charted my life, it's a bearish slide. I put the fun in fundamental flaw. Got a PhD in buying top and eating drawdown raw. Yeah, my 9 to 5, so watch list dream, but I clock in late to a panic scream.
Buy high, cry later. Maybe this is just character development. This is not financial advice. It's a cry for help.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where today is not just a Friday. It's not just a Payday Friday. It is a PCE inflation report Payday Friday. And we're going to find out if your boy's either making or losing 50 G's today. I did a little bit of rough back of the napkin math, and my net worth is either about to shoot up or completely plummet down, and we're going to be finding out. And the scary part about it is I can't do anything about it. I can't touch my positions. The report's coming at 8:30. My last option to do anything was at 3:59 yesterday. I could have taken some risk off the table, yes, but here we are. We're flipping a coin. We are very much flipping a very expensive quarter, and we're going to be finding that out at 8:30. So we have just over 5 minutes. So I want to get you guys prepped up for that. Ideally, we'll be listening to our boy Rick Santelli ripping it on mainstream media this morning. But before we get to that, excuse me, we're kind of doing like it's one normal giveaway, but it's two via 2 different avenues. Okay, so basically today we're giving away $150 cold hard cash to the fastest marble racer. We're going to be doing that around 10:30. We're going to be picking someone off of YouTube, someone off of Rumble, and 3 people off of locals. But simultaneously as we're doing that, we're going to be giving away 5 different Apex accounts. 5 different Apex accounts will be given away today, basically in celebration of their Labor Day sale, which is a crazy sale, 90% off. So if you're interested in any of that, and it's obviously all free to enter. So if you want to enter for the cash, if you want to enter for the Apex giveaway, check all that out. Apex, that one's being run on Twitter. You just have to like, retweet, and follow. We'll do a random selection on today's show. And then obviously for the $150 of cold hard cash, as I said, it will be the marble race. So like I said, 100% free to enter into all of this. So very, very excited. That's going to be happening about an hour into the market, just so everyone knows. So just want to throw that out there because I think things are going to get a little bit crazy today. Stock futures pulled back after record close for the S&P 500. So right now in pre-market trading, the NASDAQ and the SPY, actually you could see both of them here, around 3 in the morning just started to take a hit. So both of them, the 2:30, 3 in the morning, that's when I guess the train went a little bit off the tracks. But remember, it really doesn't matter. Yesterday's price action, the post-market, the pre-market, it does not matter, because what matters is this report right here, the personal consumption expenditure. The line in the sand for the year over year is 2.9%. The month over month is 0.3%. Those are the lines in the sand. We want to come in at expectations or lower, as in cool, and that's going to be very good for the market today, because remember, it all ties back to like, are we getting a Fed rate cut or whatnot? If it comes in hot, we're probably going to get screwed over, and the market's probably really going to dive. So we are going to be finding this out in a couple minutes, and I could bet you a pretty penny that the market is going to go absolutely nuts here. Let's get up the 15-second here. So pretty much right at 8:30, exactly at 8:30 when this comes out, it's just going to go buck wild, folks. It's going to go absolutely buck wild. Obviously, if you're trading futures, you can actively trade right now, and I wish you the best of luck. If you're like me and you have options, well, your hands are kind of tied behind your back all the way up until 9:30. This is a binary event. You have the same odds as flipping a coin, and I guess because of that, it's always fun to see who's lucky, who's not lucky. So I'm going to ask you right now at 8:30 when this report comes out, do you think we're going to rocket sky high, or do you think we're going to plummet ground low? Like, I don't know if there's really an equivalent there. So obviously, I don't think this is just random guessing is not a good reason to trade, especially when we're probably going to have a very volatile event right here. But I'm still kind of curious, like, who thinks they're lucky, who thinks they're not lucky? Like, we're going to shoot up to 650 here, or are we going to fall all the way down to like 645, 644? What do you think it is? When Matt is tied up, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. What's everyone's best guess? Remember, this is coming out. It's going to be massively impactful. We do have some other stuff today, Chicago PMI at 9:45, and then we have some other stuff today at 10. But the most impactful thing is going to be the PCE report. And why it's the most impactful thing is because it's going to really solidify the odds of a rate cut versus not getting a rate cut. As of this exact moment, there's a 77% chance of a 25 bips rate cut at the September 17th meeting, and a 20% chance of no change whatsoever. These odds are going to dramatically change the second we get this, because it's the second to last piece of information we need before we're getting the rate cut. So we're getting this inflation report today, the final, very impactful one. And then next Friday, a week from today, we're going to get the unemployment. And remember, when it comes to the Fed, they have a dual mandate: price stability, aka inflation, and the job market. We're getting the inflation report today. We're getting the jobs number next Friday. So this is the penultimate, I believe is the word, piece of information that the Fed's going to be taking into their decision. So Regular Joe PhD is calling for new highs. I'm on Regular Joe's side. I very much hope Regular Joe is right today, because I have a lot of money on the line. All right, we are 1 minute out. Let me get this all ready for you so we can listen to our boy Rick.
We got some news just out from the Fed, a response to Lisa Cook's suit against the government. Steve Leisman now has more on that. Steve.
Yeah, a very terse response from the Federal Reserve, which was named in the suit by Cook to stop the Fed from enforcing the president's firing.
Get
the
ready.
Fed saying it does not intend to
we
offer
have
arguments in the
30 seconds,
case.
And we also have this
the Fed
drama
says
going
it's
on with
interested
the Fed
in a
right
prompt
now.
ruling to remove the existing cloud of uncertainty, and it intends to follow any court order on the issues. We will have in a few minutes a report by Eamon Javers at the courthouse with the government's 30-page response to this, in which they will say
15
that the
seconds.
president has cause cause, and Lisa Cook has not offered any defense. But we'll leave that for a little bit after we get the data, and we'll talk about what the government responded to this case in a few minutes.
Just quickly,
Spies at
20 seconds to the data, but Lisa Cook also suing the Fed and the Fed not getting involved. Does it suggest they've kind of colluded? No.
Cook made clear in her
no
suit
movement yet. No movement yet.
And
Where are the numbers?
Just to make sure
they're not
they
out
do
yet.
not
Slight
enforce
push.
the termination for the
Slight
president.
push.
Right.
Going.
Steve, stay where you are. We want to get over to the PCE report, which is going to be out in just seconds.
Little push.
Want to get straight over to Rick Santelli standing by at the CME. Rick.
Give it to us, Rick.
Yes,
must have come in at
July
expectations.
Read on income and spending and all the Fed's favorite
2.9,
inflation
0.3.
metrics, and they are populating on the wire as we speak. Personal income up exactly as expected.
Up, though. Positive reaction thus far.
Up 4
so I'm not
would be
completely
the
poor.
Best since up 0.8 in April. Up 0.5% in spending, very solid and very much as expected. Up 0.5%.
Looks like all the naysayers in here are pretty sad.
0.7. If we look at real spending, accounting for inflation, once again, nice strong number.
There we go. Look at this guy. Look at this sex symbol of a human being.
1/10, and it is the best since March of this year. If we look at the PCE on a month-over-month basis, exactly as expected, up 0.2. Up 0.2 equals where we were in May. To find a lower number, you're going back towards March when it was 0. So we are making definite progress
popped
there
right up to VWAP.
with respect to the PCE on a month-over-month.
If we can actually get above VWAP now.
If we take a year-over-year perspective, 2.6. Left and right, it's exactly as in the rearview mirror. It's exactly as expected. If we look at the month-over-month on a core basis, up 0.3. Once again, exactly as expected, exactly as the rearview mirror.
Really.
And finally, what I would consider the most important number on this 7 variables within this income and spending, that would be the core PCE
85% chance here of a 25 bips rate cut.
As expected.
Little bit of movement there.
But this is the only number on the inflation front that's a little warmer than it was last month. It was 2.8, now at 2.9.
But they did expect that. That was the expectation.
In line with the 2.94 that we had in February or the 2.97 we had in March of last year. Now, let's look at the trade balance, shall we?
We popped. We pulled back a little bit, looking for this to be a higher low and seeing if we could take out 648.
Comes in worse than expected, minus 103 billion, and that would comp to the biggest deficit ever in March, and that was minus 161 billion, and that was the biggest since record keeping in 1989. So we are moving the wrong way there. Wholesale inventories up 0.2. That's a July preliminary number. Retail inventories, a July number, up 0.2. How did all this get digested by the marketplace? Well, prior to the release of the numbers,
not as bullish as I wanted it to be, but
it's
better
now
than
at
bearish.
363. It closed at 370 last Friday. If we look at a 10-year, it's currently at 421. It was at 422. 421 is exactly unchanged versus yesterday's late cash market close. However,
I want to be Rick when I grow up. We all do.
Last Friday.
We all do.
So we are lower in yields, not a lot, but about a handful as we sit right now with last Friday's close. We're turning a bit higher. Yesterday's low yield in 10s was right around 420. We held that today. That's very critical.
Yeah,
and if you're a technician out there, watch 4.25 in deference to the close. Gang at the desk, back to you.
Gang
Rick,
at the
with
desk.
some very smart analysis. I'm going to swing it around the hoop here, or really get over to Steve Leisman now.
Q's up,
Steve,
Russell
the ball
up,
is yours,
Bitcoin up.
Yeah, I'm doing a final
Not
calculation
at the high
here.
of yesterday, but it is setting us up for a good chance of testing that today.
Was it 0.26 up to 0.3? But it looks like it's a real 0.3 from what I can tell. I need to double check that. The reason why these numbers on the inflation side are always on the mark, and they have been considerably, a lot of attention paid, is because the economists, one of the things they do very well is taking the PPI and the CPI and figuring out what the PCE is. They're very good at that. There have been very few surprises on the PCE side, which is why my friend Rick Santelli says the numbers we care about in here are the numbers we don't know and have trouble predicting. It's the spending and the income numbers. And Michael Gapin, who is here, is shaking his head in
Michael's
agreement.
doing what?
This is right. I mean, We don't know the numbers. So those numbers came in pretty healthy, right?
Nice.
I'm going to give you those numbers
That's
again.
good. Tell me more, Steve.
0.4 on the income numbers. I'm going to look while Michael's talking about the wages versus the government transfer, see how much that is private sector. But the income numbers, real disposable income up 0.2, consumption up 0.5. That's a good number. The consumer in this thing is not giving up. And why do we care about this number? Because we come in early in the month and we give you our
shout out to
credit
everyone
card
pissing
spending
away
number,
money.
The CNBC NRF retail data.
Jacking up those credit card bills. Thank you.
The day before gives you their credit card number.
Thank you.
It's not inflation adjusted. In this time period, when we have tariffs boosting prices, we don't know if the gains are real spending or are they boosted by inflation. This number is inflation adjusted. So to the extent that we have real PCE up 0.3, the price index up 0.2, we understand what's going on, and the consumer seems to be, on an inflation-adjusted basis, assuming that number is correct, doing okay.
So we don't need a rate cut.
What's that?
So we don't need a rate cut.
This is the great debate. It's like this data is a Rorschach test. We had John Williams on earlier this week, you remember?
I do.
He said the labor market's solid. Chris
Giving
Waller
a little
last
bit
night
back, but still
thinks
holding
it's
green.
deteriorating, and the numbers are negative.
Since the report came out right at 8:30, so
I'm
we
just
popped.
telling you what two pretty smart guys think about it. Chris says we absolutely need a rate cut. Now Williams says we can
bullish,
still do a rate cut. I think that's really the key.
Bearish,
if you have two
bullish,
different points of view, where can you meet?
Bullish,
you can meet by saying
testing,
I'm modestly restrictive.
bearish, bullish.
I can cut a little bit.
Mixed
still
reaction thus far with
pressure
respect
on
to
inflation.
momentum.
So the debate becomes for the market.
Could have been way
not
worse.
really what happens in September.
Could have been way
it's
worse.
Thereafter.
It's beyond. It can handle maybe a 25 basis point, but then beyond there. That's the question. Well, luckily we have three people we can ask about it. Let's bring in Michael Gapin, Morgan Stanley Chief U.S. Economist, Wendy Edelberg, Economic Studies Senior Fellow at the Brookings Institution, and Lydia Mashburn Newman, American Institute for Economic Research, Managing Director
Before you
of
ask,
Monetary
yes, I have
Economics.
those glasses.
Mike, let's start with you. Your expectations were right on the money here, exactly what they reported in terms of PCE. And this morning, you updated your outlook for monetary policy in favor of 50 basis points of rate cuts this year and 100 basis points in 2026 for a terminal target rate of 2.75 to 3%. Given kind of the two schools of thought here that Steve just laid out for us, where are you on that?
Well, our job is to say what, of course, we think the Fed will do. And I do think the message coming out of Jackson Hole is closer to, say, Chris Waller's view than John Williams, in that they appear to want to ease to protect against downside risk to the labor market. So it's not necessarily the numbers that you just saw today justify the cuts. It's maybe risks around those numbers, right? So as Steve said, 0.5 on personal spending is a solid number. It's likely boosted in part by the expiration of electronic vehicle tax credits. So I haven't seen the details in there, but I suspect the motor vehicle consumption number would be a big driver of that number. Personal spending or consumer spending at 1.6 in the second quarter, it's not all that great, but it's not all that terrible either. So tariffs are weighing on activity and slowing things down. It's Chris Waller's stated view that with the adjustments for the benchmark revisions that we're likely to get in September, you would look back and see that job growth was flat to maybe even negative over the prior few months. So his view is we shouldn't wait, we should ease. I think the question is essentially, was that a 2-month reaction after Liberation Day? A response by the private sector that said, hey, we were not expecting this. We don't know what to do, so for now we're just going to wait. And then ultimately we got a little more clarity, and then activity and hiring can resume. So was it a 2-month pothole, or was it a trend deterioration
VWAP's up here at 82, but we're now on top of the new point of control.
But what we should probably
do is
bring our
and
policy
then obviously
down,
here's
policy
ES.
rate down, just in case it is trend weakening.
I want to throw one more
ES is on top of both VWAP and the point of control. So as of right now, structurally, the S&P 500 is a bit
private
stronger.
sector wages up 0.7%. That's pretty strong.
Pretty strong.
That's a strong number. Do you want to annualize that on national television, or should I do it for you?
You're at about 5%.
You're about 5%. Those are strong numbers suggesting of a strong labor market. How is the labor market weak if wages are going up quite so strongly? But leave it there.
But Steve, that raises the question. The president's been saying for many months that,
why are you shouting,
that
buddy?
Powell's been too late, and there are people I think who are looking at some of these numbers and think maybe he was too late if, in fact, he's going to lower rates in September. And the question that I'm saying, looking at this morning, you look at those numbers and you say, I don't know if he was too late. And I think there's even a debate about whether he should do it in December.
Pretty strong numbers.
In September.
Neutral to strong, I would say.
In his criticism of Powell, Powell is not too late. He is rightly too confused. That's the problem. There's too much stuff happening on both sides of the mandate. Immigration affecting the labor side, tariffs affecting the inflation side. We have two other guests, and I'm being rude, and I want to get to Wendy.
That's okay.
Let's see what Wendy has to say.
One question.
Bring us
as we
home,
talk
Wendy.
about the prospect of rate cuts and the numbers here. I mean, 2.9% is still pretty far from a 2% target there. At what cost would it be
big buyers
if
stepping
we
in at
cut
48
rates in September, if we have several more cuts after that?
Well, those are two very different.
What's the downside, essentially?
Those are two very different things. I think Powell has signaled and let the markets believe that there will be a cut in September. But my guess is that they cut in September and then issue a pretty hawkish statement. I think that the labor market is pretty strong right now. I think that break-even employment growth is probably in the ballpark of the employment growth that we've seen, about 30,000 a month. And I think Waller is extrapolating what he thinks he's going to see in terms of downward revisions that come through March 2025.
Buyers stepping in right here.
Ancient history. He's extrapolating that for recent months, and those are some pretty strong assumptions. I think it's a cleaner assumption to say the employment growth that we've seen over the last few months is probably the true employment growth. And I think it's pretty close to labor supply growth given immigration. So I think we have a strong labor market. I think we have a strong consumer. I think we have rising inflation. But I think a 25 basis point cut,
girl.
On the margins is not going to be a big deal. But I would expect the Fed to issue a hawkish statement.
Tell us how you really feel,
Wendy. As to how many cuts we get over the next, 18 months from here, because it won't be too long before the nominal Fed's rate will get close to the PCE core inflation rate. Surely it's not going to go below it.
Certainly. I mean, the cutting once in September, as Wendy was saying, could be warranted given the labor market's supposed weakness. And what we're looking at going into 2023, a lot will depend on how various policy, both on the fiscal side, not just on the monetary side, interact with the labor market and growth and inflation. But I think it's important to be a little cautious here. We're basically seeing a 3% year-over-year print in core.
Buyers in at 45.
And there's an argument to be made that is the Fed basically accepting that their new inflation target is not 2%, but is actually 3%? And if they cut in September and continue to signal cuts going the rest of this year or not until 2025, that still begs those questions. And we need to look at the weakness in the labor market. Waller, I think, is correct to note that the revisions downward of almost 250,000 over May and June, that these are issues of concern. But some of the weaknesses really have a lot to do with structural changes. Immigration was mentioned, but the other things not mentioned so far very much are we also have an aging labor force. So people are leaving the labor force. That's another drawdown on the labor numbers. And then you also are having the interaction of AI with entry-level workers. There was a new study out by Stanford this week that looked at some of that payroll data at that level. And these are all areas that will get worked out eventually, but these are structural shifts in the economy that the Fed is actually poorly equipped to actually address. The tool of monetary policy is a blunt one, and throwing more money at that structural problem just makes that problem more expensive.
Yeah, to quote Steve Leisman, Powell is rightfully confused, and we can understand why. Thank you to Michael, Wendy, and Lydia here.
Meantime, we got some news for you right now. The Trump administration out with a response to Lisa Cook's lawsuit this morning, and Eamon Javers is in Washington right now. He's actually at the courthouse. Eamon.
Yeah, that's right, Andrew. This response just dropped within the past couple of minutes on the court system. We're waiting, remember, for that hearing with Lisa Cook here at the courthouse at 10 a.m. Eastern. This is the Department of Justice's response to her lawsuit in advance of that hearing. Lisa Cook is looking for a temporary restraining order from the court here to block the president's attempt to fire her. The Department of Justice now issuing this filing saying that's unnecessary. The attempt to fire her should go forward. They're citing a couple of things here. Most importantly, what they're saying in this filing, Andrew, is that the president's authority to fire people but-for cause from the Fed is broad and is at his discretion. And they're also saying that Lisa Cook really hasn't defended herself in public. They say, incredibly, Dr. Cook, even now, hazards no explanation for her conduct and points to nothing she would say or prove in any hearing that would conceivably alter the president's determination that the perception of financial misconduct alone is intolerable in this role. Under these circumstances, they write, there is certainly no equitable basis for a reinstatement injunction. One point on that, in Dr. Cook's filing yesterday in the initial lawsuit, she wrote that if there was a clerical error in her mortgage applications, that she did not make that clerical error.
Those darn clerics.
But even if there was a clerical error, that would not be grounds for firing. So she has defended herself in those terms.
Blaming it on the clerics.
Rebutting here a procedural objection that Dr. Cook raises. They say Dr. Cook also presses a procedural objection that she was deprived of notice and an opportunity to respond to the president's concern. But no court has ever extended these due process protections for employees to principal officers of the United States. In any case, the president gave Dr. Cook notice when he publicized the FHFA referral on August 20th and only acted to terminate her 5 days later after it was clear that no adequate response was forthcoming. So what the Department of Justice is arguing here is that all this played out in public. She had 5 days at least to respond to it in public. She did not to their satisfaction. Therefore, the president decided to fire her.
We're ripping it,
they
Mom.
are urging this court not to give any restraining order.
We're ripping it,
to allow
brother.
the president to continue to take action against Dr. Cook. We'll see what happens at 10 o'clock.
Go.
Eamon, I have two questions for you. One is, you made a comment that when you looked through her filing yesterday, that she did defend herself. We've commented a little bit this morning on this clerical error idea that was suggested. It was really in one sentence, but you just said something different, or in addition to that, she said that she didn't. It wasn't her. She didn't do it herself.
Yeah, so the
know how I got the
idea that she
loan.
raises in her filing is that if there was a clerical error,
I just got the loan.
And they say she did not make a clerical error, but even if there was one, that would not be grounds for the president to have cause to fire her.
The loan,
right?
it's just
so
there.
The question here is, what is her defense ultimately going to be? Is it going to be that she didn't fill out those forms herself, that she wasn't aware of those forms, that it was simply a mistake and it was an innocent mistake and not enough grounds?
Your Honor, I actually don't know about the loan because I was pretty high and drunk when I got my third house. So is that a defense?
Take that for what it is. She's defending herself both on the merits and also on this possibility that there was an error, saying even if there was an error, that's not enough.
Eamon, just remind us what time this hearing starts,
10
how long
a.m.
it's meant to take.
10 a.m., 10 a.m.
And this might be a basic question, but I think it's important to get the clarity. Who is seeking the injunction against who here? If there wasn't this
They're both injuncting each other.
Is she already fired? I still get confused about that. Or is this the government trying to enforce the firing?
Yeah, it is confusing here.
So the
president has taken steps to attempt to fire Lisa Cook. Lisa Cook has now filed a lawsuit to block that, saying the president doesn't have the authority to do that under the law under the statute that sets up the Federal Reserve. Now what we're seeing is a hearing in which the judge is going to be asked under this lawsuit to file an injunction blocking the president's attempt to fire her from moving forward while this court proceeding is ongoing, right? So what Cook is saying here is just stop this entirely while we adjudicate all this in court, and then ultimately it'll be up to the court to make a decision here, but for temporarily stop this from happening. What the government is saying in this filing that they just dropped, the Department of Justice on behalf of President Trump, is no such restraining order is necessary. The firing should move forward. Even if she's suing in court, we want to fire her and have her moved out of this position immediately. So, there's been this sort of gray area about whether Lisa Cook is or is not a member of the Federal Reserve Board right now. And you saw from Steve Leisman earlier the filing from the Fed, which is also named in this lawsuit. They're filing essentially sort of throws up its hands and says, you know, we're being sued here, but we don't really have a position. We'll send somebody to the hearing this morning, but ultimately, you know, we're going to wait for the court's decision. So the Fed is trying to sit this one out and not take a position. We'll see what they say, if anything, in court today. That's at 10 o'clock.
A very quick word on this. Very quick word. What's happening at 10 o'clock
Eamon,
is all about
thank you. We're going to be talking to you a lot more.
Likelihood to win. It's all about the likelihood to win. So the government's saying you can't put an injunction on because he's unlikely to win this case down the road. Cook says you have to put an injunction on because I'm likely to win this case down the road. That's what we'll argue at 10, and that'll be separate from the broader, longer-term arguments of can the president fire her for cause. All of that's incorporated this morning.
10
It's
a.m.
all about likelihood to win at 10 o'clock.
Okay. Steve, don't go anywhere. Eamon, want to thank you. Joining us for reaction to the data and this fast-moving story.
Who do they have
former
now?
Kansas City Fed President Tom Hoenig. He's
former
a
Kansas
City
City
the,
Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes with his take on inflation.
We can talk about this data first, but I actually want to ask you just about this case since we're on the topic. Tom, what is your reaction?
All right, support
what would you
right
like to
here
see this court do?
59. I'm praying that this holds.
Well, good question. I would like to see them simply try and sort this out in the sense of
all right, just got to fill.
Does the president have the authority
that
to
buyer did get filled right here, the big red circle. Let's see if we could get this bounced. Take out 65, take out 70.
Outlined.
Pointing control at 50.
I think she deserves her day in court like anyone does. And I think let the court decide if that's what the Fed's saying. And that's what I would join them in saying at this point, given the unclarity of this case. It's really difficult to know a clerical error or something else. So I don't know beyond that.
Tom, one follow-up just related to this, which is obviously there's the courts and then there's the court of public opinion. There have been members of the Fed that have ultimately stepped down, irrespective of what kind of authority the president has or doesn't have to fire somebody. But there have been people who have stepped down in part because of what might be described as moral problems or other problems, trading, other things that have happened.
Come on, Andrew. Get your shit together. Andrew.
Whether you think, putting aside what authority the president has, whether she should be more publicly either defending herself or not defending herself, and what role, therefore, the Fed has in all of this.
Well, I mean, I think she has publicly defended herself. Whether it's sufficient to someone's standard, I can't guess at, but she has publicly defended herself. And I think, others, you're right, others have stepped down. The pressure has grown on them to step down, and they did so. And so you mentioned public opinion. I don't know where the public stands on this, frankly. And it's really...
That's a good question. You guys are the public, I believe. Do you think Lisa Cook should step down just because of the accusations, or do you think she deserves her day in court? If you guys had to just say in terms of, I guess, like the chaotic nature of it, the narrative, the drama, do you think she should step down right now and just be like, okay, see ya, like whatever, don't really admit guilt or anything, but just move on with your life? Or do you think, like, no, if you're accused, you deserve to be able to defend yourself?
All kinds of different things happen. And I got a New York Fed president saying the data is solid. We just had an analyst on who made a very smart observation that inflation's at 3%, a percentage point above target, and the Fed is cutting.
You guys are really split on this.
And I got a Fed governor who is saying that the labor market is so weak it's about to turn negative based on his extrapolation of revisions that are yet to come and yet to be published and won't even concern the current thing. How do you come down, Tom, in all of this? Are you a guy who says, look, I have to cut on the come, so to speak, if you're playing craps, and say, look, the labor market's going to be weak, I have to guard against it?
What are you doing,
plainly
Steve?
At your inflation target, you're missing it, and you hold steady at a restricted rate.
Is he standing on?
Well,
he's cutting the what?
I'm very much in the camp of these numbers this morning. The PCE inflation has actually tipped up a little bit more. I think that's an important fact. Unemployment still is 4.2%.
Get out of here.
The initial claims were actually down yesterday. So the environment is such that I think the Fed, and let me say one more thing, and if you look at real interest rates, with inflation at 3%, real interest rates are 1.5% approximately. That is pretty close to neutral. I know the chairman likes to say it's restrictive or mildly restrictive, but there's a lot of evidence out there given the demand for capital, the returns on capital, and the demand with the size of our debt that is probably closer to 1.5%. So at worst, we're at neutral. So perhaps it is time to wait and see and not be signaling that we're going to cut rates. I don't think there's any case for cutting rates in rising inflation environment. One other thing. Yes, perhaps look through some of the tariff issues, but remember the recent budget reconciliation bill is, I think, expansionary. We're going to add another $2 trillion of debt, so there's really no good case on the I guess the intuition that unemployment is going to go up. That's not a case for easy rates in this environment.
Tom, 30 seconds left. Do you think then if we get a cut, that Chair Powell has resisted for a long time, fallen for the political pressure?
Ball is not.
Well, that or he's fallen for the pressure that may be coming elsewhere on the board on the FOMC. So you have to guess. I don't know because you don't know Powell's mind, but it certainly has. He'll have an appearance issue. There's probably no question about that, given that inflation is rising in this environment and unemployment is so low. So it's a risk he has to run if he cuts.
Tom, I want to thank you for batting around both the data, what the Fed may do, and the courts. Probably not on your bingo card this morning, but thank you again for joining us with all of that. We appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Squawk will be right back after this.
I think we can be done with this now. So Steve talking about cuts on come or something like that. I don't know. That's above my pay grade. So if you're just joining in right now, first of all, you're late, demerit. You need to be to class on time, especially as we're about to go into a holiday weekend. You can see the market spiked here at 8:30. Why did the market spike at 8:30? Because we got the result of the PCE inflation report, the personal consumption expenditure. It came in at expectations across the board. There was nothing that was wrong. It was exactly at expectations. If you look at the core month over month, 0.3 versus 0.3. If you look at the PCE year over year, 2.6 versus 2.6, 2.9, 2.9, and then obviously 0.2 and 0.2. So all four, whether it's core or headline, month over month or year over year, those are your four options. All four were perfectly at expectations. And as I kind of alluded to yesterday, we were in a 3-case scenario. We come in higher than expectations, not good. The chance of a rate cut would go down. The market would also probably fall. If we came in at expectations, which is what we did, it would probably be neutral to bullish, which is literally exactly what we're seeing in pre-market trading. A little bit of a pop, but nothing crazy. And then for us to have a huge pop to the upside, that would be if it came in lower than expectations. So we're kind of in that Goldilocks situation. So that's the report that came out this morning with relation to this. And obviously it's going to have a big impact on rate cuts versus no rate cuts. According to the Fed Watch Tool, 85.3% chance of a 25 bips rate cut at the September 17th meeting. And then also, if you are paying attention to the betting odds on Polymarket, right now, what is their 80% chance of a 25 bips rate cut? So basically anywhere between 80 and 85. And the final thing of what the markets are actually currently waiting for is going to be next Friday, a week from today, when we get those unemployment numbers. So that's kind of like the broader view of what's happening in the economy and monetary policy at the moment. But the other hot news, and once again, you could check this out. Just so you know, there's stuff coming out at 9:45 and also at 10 a.m. But as I guess CNBC was also talking about, is we have quite a bit of drama between Ms. Lisa Cook, the Fed governor, and Donald J. Trump, the sitting president of the United States. Fed Governor Lisa Cook sues to stop Trump from firing her. The lawsuit tees up a high-stakes court battle over the president's authority to remove members of the central bank. From a legal standpoint, the president does have the ability to remove a Fed governor if he has cause. Legally right now, it's questionable of if he has cause because nothing has been proven quite yet. And I have to admit, I find it very interesting that 50% of you in chat said, yeah, no, she should just step down. That's pretty un-American if you ask me. Remember this whole idea of like innocent till proven guilty? Everyone in here, imagine you at your job, if just someone at your job accused you of something and maybe you did it, but maybe you didn't do it. But imagine if just on the accusation alone, that you had to now leave your job and step down. I actually find it very, very, very concerning that many of you in here were like, yeah, she should just step down. What the fuck do you mean she should step down? Nothing has been proven. It should be proven. You are innocent till proven guilty. If this world, if this country operated in a way of just like, yeah, no, like just nope, because you were accused of something that now you have to go, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. How about incompetence? Is that cause? What has she been incompetent about? What specifically has Lisa Cook done that you think is incompetent? You mean like every guy that gets accused of SA? I guess it's kind of in that world. That would obviously be a pretty extreme example of it. But wait. So you're saying because it happens elsewhere and you don't agree with it there, it should be able to happen here? What kind of logical reaches are you guys making? It's not speculation. There's an actual paper trail. Once again, it has to be proven in court. Are you guys really that dense this morning that you're not understanding it? Because you saw one piece of thing from someone on Twitter who like is literally just doing whatever Trump tells him to do. You're like, yep, has to be true. I guarantee you if it was the other way around, imagine if Biden were still president and one of his underlings found information about a right-leaning Fed governor, you'd be freaking out. You would be absolutely freaking out. That's crazy that you're happy with it happening now because you view it as benefiting your political party. But if it were done against you, you would then not like it at all. So you're basically basing the morality on it on if you want it to happen or not. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, especially from adults. Cook signals clerical error may be behind a mortgage dispute. So she's basically saying, I don't know. Not my fault. Not my fault at all. And that's what we're going to find out more about today. But Trump Housing Director Pulte lodges new criminal referral for Fed Governor Lisa Cook. This guy is a complete fucking twat. Has nothing to do with the administration or anything. Well, I guess it does because he's technically part of the administration. I have no idea how this guy got this job. Whenever he talks, whenever he opens his mouth, he's always pushing the bar for how stupid a human being could actually be. But anyway, he's the underling under Trump who is like pushing this effort forward. And he's actually saying that there might be a third one involved now. Cook scrutiny builds after criminal referral over a third mortgage. So basically that all means today is going to get pretty spicy at 10 a.m. Judge in Lisa Cook case sets Friday hearing on Trump effort to fire the Fed governor. So once again, I want to make my position very clear. If she did something inappropriate, illegal, unwarranted as it goes to this, like if she somehow in any way did legitimately, and it's proven, commit mortgage fraud, yes, I would 100% believe she should be removed. And I believe that the president should be able to exert his power to remove someone who did something illegal, especially in the world of mortgage fraud. Now, his reasoning for it, like of why he's going after, it's a little bit questionable. Obviously, he just wants control over the Fed, clearly. But once again, whether he does or doesn't, that doesn't mean these aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. His reasoning for looking into it might be just kind of power hungry as it relates to the Fed, very much wanting rate cuts. But that's not mutually exclusive to the fact that maybe Lisa Cook did do something legitimately wrong. And if she did, I don't believe she should be able to have her position. These are not mutually exclusive things. So I say, if you're in the U.S., everyone deserves their day in court. And if she is found guilty, give her the boot. If she's not found guilty, well, Trump doesn't really have cause then. It's just one of those things. We just have to wait. And once again, part of the court and legal, the wheels of justice are going to get rolling today at 10 a.m. to find out about what in the world is going on with this injunction. And Wall Street Journal has a pretty decent breakdown right here.
Lisa Cook, a member of the Federal Reserve Board, filed suit against President Trump, the Federal Reserve itself, and the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, alleging that Trump's purported firing of Lisa Cook was illegal. This is 2 days after President Trump went to social media to fire Lisa Cook, alleging that she had filed a fraudulent mortgage application, and that was sufficient cause to remove her before the expiration of her 14-year term.
The president has the authority to fire those who are not aligned with his mission.
The complaint paints a picture of the president.
That is legally false. not aligned with his mission. He has the legal authority to fire someone not aligned with his mission. That is not true. He has the legal authority to fire someone with cause, but not at will. So the House or the spokeswoman, that's just legally not accurate. Now, you might think it should be, but as of right now, the way the rules are written, he can't do that. You can't just get rid of the Fed, which is supposed to be a non-political body, just because they're not aligned with your mission. To my understanding, and I'm by no means a lawyer, but I did watch most of the seasons of Suits, that is not legally accurate.
And using this allegation as a pretext for a political goal that he has, regardless of what she did or didn't do. His goal is to take control of the Fed so it can lower interest rates and give a short-term boost to the economy that will help him politically, even if it damages the United States economy over the longer term. Now, whether or not she is guilty of fraud or it's just a mistake in claiming two different residences as her primary residence, that's the basic allegation, that has itself several dimensions on whether, if true, it would be cause. The complaint says that the president has violated Lisa.
So legally, is that enough to quote unquote have cause? In my book, and this isn't legal, but just morally, if you're a Fed governor and you're doing kind of questionable financial stuff, I think as a Fed governor, you should be pretty unreproachable. So I don't, maybe legally that doesn't count as cause, but I think it's kind of sketchy.
Cook's rights to due process, which are guaranteed under the Constitution, and the statute creating the Federal Reserve, which requires cause. And that the cause against her hasn't been proven. In fact, she hasn't even been given a formal opportunity to respond to that cause. The complaint points out why the Fed has historically enjoyed this type of independence. It says that an independent Fed prevents the president from political manipulation of policy for his own short-term interests. This case moves us into really uncharted territory. Never in the history of the Fed has a president ever attempted to remove a governor for cause.
What is your response? Are you prepared for a legal fight? And then a little bit more.
Oh, sure. Always. You always have legal fights. Look, I had a legal fight that went on for years with crooked people, with very horrible people.
The 1913 law establishing the Federal Reserve gives the president the power to remove a Fed governor for cause. But that's all the statute tells us. The statute doesn't tell us what cause is, and it doesn't tell us how the president can establish sufficient cause, and it doesn't tell us what a Fed governor can do to dispute a president's effort.
I'd vote for Matt's chair.
President Trump has very loudly complained about Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman,
abstaining from every vote,
to reduce interest rates in a way that has not.
Matt equals 3 toddlers in a Buffalo shirt.
I call him too late. He's always too late.
But he hasn't yet moved to fire him. And if he is successful in removing Lisa Cook, he won't necessarily have to, because that would give Trump the opportunity to appoint a majority of members.
That's all he wants. He doesn't care about mortgage fraud. It's Trump. He wants
one of the things Lisa
the majority
Cook is
of the Fed.
For is a temporary restraining order preventing the president from removing her and preventing the Federal Reserve Board and Jerome Powell from implementing the president's direction. That's why they also are named in the lawsuit. And the Federal Reserve has said it's going to follow whatever the courts tell it to do. So it really is going to put the courts and almost certainly the United States Supreme Court in the position of deciding what level of independence the Federal Reserve has and what constitutes misconduct by a Senate-confirmed member of the Fed board.
We're going to be finding out. That was actually a very good explanation. Hang on, something just got messed up over here. We're going to be finding out, the first part of the legal proceedings start at 10 a.m. today. On individual equity news, obviously we heard from NVIDIA, but I do want to bring up some interesting news about Alibaba that we heard early this morning. I know we're switching gears a little bit, but I think it's important. Alibaba creates AI chip to help China fill NVIDIA void. Chinese tech companies spark market exuberance by signaling they are catching up to the U.S. So Alibaba, for those of you maybe paying attention to it, some good news there. Also related to the world of AI, Microsoft starts testing AI model that would escalate competition with OpenAI, which in itself is interesting because remember, Microsoft is one of the largest equity holders of OpenAI. So even though they're involved with it, They're trying to create their own competition. So if anything, we're seeing another piece of information, in my own opinion, that is kind of suggesting the rift is widening between Microsoft and OpenAI, and specifically Sam Altman. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, mattkohrs.locals.com. Comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. It's 100% free. It's in the description of the video. My mod will also put it in the chat. But basically, you're going to get this, like I said, to your email inbox. I break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for the earnings. Earnings season is now pretty much over, just so everyone knows, until the next one starts up. And then we just have all the major stuff coming out at 10 a.m. today. Or 9:45 as well. So we already got this stuff right here, the PCE, which, as they alluded to, for those of you who were in chat early, you heard that they're better at predicting PCE than they are CPI and PPI. And the reason for that, the reason why there's rarely misses with PCE is because it comes out afterwards. So people are able to put into the models the fresh data from the CPI and the PPI to more accurately predict the PCE. So moving forward, just remember that it is easier for them to be spot on with the PCE. And that's actually why there's a little bit more of an emphasis on personal income and spending. And actually this morning, we got some good numbers related to that, which is probably part of the reason why we are up, even though everything else hit expectations. Just so you know, at 9:45, we get some Chicago PMI numbers, and then at 10 a.m., consumer sentiment. I also believe the Michigan numbers are coming out today. With respect to seasonality for each individual day, today, over the past better part of 3 decades, 27 years technically, the Bulls have won in 44% of the time, Bears 56. Profit factor is negative because the first year was a considerable loss. But if you look at the past couple of years, it's clearly been bullish. So neutral, slightly bearish, now slightly bullish. So if you have a recency bias, yes, that would be bullish. If you're looking at the whole data set, it's pretty neutral. So I would say today is neutral, maybe neutral leaning slightly bullish, just from a seasonality standpoint. But then when I look at what's going on in the world of options and whatnot, it does make me slightly more bullish, just because we have quite a bit of positive gamma. We have some interesting tests all the way up here at 6,500 as it comes to, hang on, I want to show you the actual net open interest. We have some positive gamma right there, sold premium, but then we have a negative gamma thing right above. So I'm kind of watching this today. 6,525. Of course, 6,500. That is just below the all-time high that was notched in yesterday. We have a good size play there, but I am watching 6,525. There's a 4,000 contract bet all the way up there. And just so you know, someone is also reaching one. These are sold calls, 7,000. On the south side, if you're a little bit more bearish, you might want to be focusing on this interesting bet right here. We have long puts and then sold calls. So this is by definition pretty bearish. Sold calls below, and then also long puts focusing on 6,450. So today's pretty easy. In terms of the levels to pay attention to, it's pretty much all the 50 and 25 point increments. In terms of the overall structure, yes, we did hit an all-time high yesterday. Exciting stuff. But the question is, are we going to get that follow through? Ever since the Jerome Powell speech on Friday, we've had a kind of a lethargic push to the upside, inside day, then kind of a bullish engulfing, and then we finally broke that and we got the follow through. So SPX, the barometer for the overall market, the S&P 500, did officially notch a new all-time high yesterday. And we just got some good news today, as in, hey, inflation isn't hot, so we are increasing the chances of a 25 bips rate cut. And then when I put that together with the generic flow, you saw that the SPY was pretty bullish yesterday. You saw that the Mag 7 was pretty bullish yesterday. The large players were buying for the past 2 days. Putting that all together, it does make me lean on the side of bullishness more than bearishness. But remember, we still have about 17 minutes to the market open. So I want to see the new positioning and see how the larger players are truly interpreting this news. Because don't forget, in the overnight session, things got a little rocked. I mean, starting at 2:30, 3 a.m., we saw a good amount of selling. And even with this leaning positive, like leaning bullish PCE report, we have not recovered this sell-off. So I kind of want to see if we can fully recover that. And if we do, then that's going to make me much more optimistic on this day individually. In terms of like just where we are, don't forget, things might get a little bit wonky because not only is it a Friday, but it's a Friday heading into a long weekend. The market is closed on Monday in observation of Labor Day. So that's going to have some influences as it relates to Vanna and Charm. If we can get going, as long as vol doesn't expand, it will be bullish. As vol continues to contract, that means that for all those puts that were purchased from market makers, they don't have to hedge as much. We're going to see this delta decay. So they're going to be able to buy back from the open market market, and that will ideally give us a little bit of a grind effect upwards. So we're going to see how that ends up going. But once again, that's all on the overall statement that vol is not expanding. We're actually seeing that the small cap sector is looking pretty strong. It also popped at 830, but it's near the top of its range, while the SPY popped, pulled back, and now we're roughly halfway. Same thing on the Qs. Popped, pulled back, and maybe a little bit over halfway. With all this craziness, Bitcoin has been pretty much flat. It popped, gave about 2/3 of it back, and it's flat, trading at 110, 111,000. So overall, I would say the setup today is neutral, leaning bullish. I'm not really seeing many measurable pieces of information, stats, facts, or figures suggesting that today's the day to be bearish. Of course, that might happen because remember, the market is not open yet. But as of now, the breakdown, I mean, it is favoring the bulls. It's just clearly favoring the bulls. We could do a little bit of a deeper analysis just because we have more time this morning. So right here, shout out to Spot Gamma. By the way, don't forget Spot Gamma, the Flow Patrol. It is free up until the 5th. I highly recommend that everyone checks it out. It is free. You don't even have to be a member. But let me zoom in on this very quickly. Let me switch it over to the SPY because I know you guys love to generally trading those 0 DTE SPY options. Excuse me. All right, so where's the SPY at right now? SPY is trading at 647 and some change. Well, guess fucking what, team? Guess where the biggest gamma strike is? 647. It's almost as if options trading has an absolutely massive impact on the market. The largest gamma level of the current gamma structure on SPY is exactly where we are at. As in, if we can get above and hold above it, it's going to turn into support. Actually, specifically, let me see how this is looking. Oh, wow, that's messy too. So we have some puts, but we also have some long calls. So there are so basically there's a good chunk of people betting we're going above, and then we could run into resistance right at 648. And then there's a good chunk of people betting we're going below. And then there's, I guess, support, but resistance to those put players right at 645. So we are right at that pivotal level. Like there's no other way to really doll it up of we're at the huge gamma level. With respect to QQQ, let's take a look at the NASDAQ. And just for spot price, we are currently trading at 575. 575 is right here. So there's some support at 570 and there's resistance at 580. So we're literally straddling the 5 points. 5 points of resistance above, 5 points of support below. And last but not least, and actually should benefit the most from a rate cut, is the Russell. Let's quickly check the spot price. Russell trading at 236 and some change. Well, look at that. 235 is at support. We might be able to start pushing up this gamma mountain. And the next thing is at 239. So 235 is support if we could stay on the right side of it, the positive side of it, and then kind of that slow grind up to 239, and that's the real test. If there is a breakout, I'd be looking at 241. Once again, just all the gamma structure of the positions that were live as of market close yesterday. So this is going to have a huge influence. Remember, this is the weekly expiration. We just got a big report. We're heading into the holiday weekend. So not only are we going to be watching these key technical levels, such as the recent highs and lows, I love to mark those out on the 4-hour chart on ES and NQ, but also we're going to have to pay attention to now some of these daily levels, because yes, SPX, if we touch yesterday's high, as in right here, 6508, that's going to be a new all-time high. That is not true for the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ has a bit more distance to go for the NASDAQ to hit a new all-time high, which it's not necessarily out of the cards today, but the likelihood of it, I mean, how much would we actually have to go from market open? And remember, we are slightly down. We would have to go up 1.1%. So like I said, not out of the cards, but we would have to have like a measurably good day. And then if you look at the Russell, completely different story. So even though this is looking good, that's just a local high. The all-time high in small cap was actually made back in November of 2024. So right now, beautiful trend to the upside, some nice technical breakouts. We have some evident levels right here at 2,400 to test on the Russell, but to technically hit a new all-time high, once again, this is just a local high, not the all-time high. So let's also look at Bitcoin. Hasn't been doing the best lately. We got a bit of a push yesterday, but if anything, ever since the all-time high put in mid-August, we have a succession of lower highs and lower lows. And basically, I had to admit I was wrong on my BITX calls, and I think I took a hit of like 10 to 15K yesterday on that play, which is a huge bummer, but I'm hoping that the equities market can make me back some of that money today. Obviously, we will be finding out very, very shortly. So the Russell's looking pretty good in pre-market. SPY is holding. Qs are holding. We have about 10 minutes to go until the market opens, which is the perfect time to remind you guys that it's not just a Friday. It's not just a PCE inflation report Friday. It is, in fact, a Payday Friday giveaway. So we're kind of doing two things. As we normally do, we're giving away $150 of cold hard cash. It's in the description of the video. It's pinned to the top of chat, and also my mod will put it in. So all you have to do is basically, it's free to enter. I just need a way to contact you if you're the winner so I can send you the $150 of cold hard cash. So on top of that, this one is sponsored by Apex because they are currently running a crazy, insane 90% off deal. And if you want to take advantage of that, you can use that code Goonie, but we're going to be giving away 5 of these accounts, and all like the easiest way for me to run this raffle, I figured, was to do it on Twitter. This is pinned to the top of chat. My mod will put it in chat, or yeah, it's pinned to the top of chat, but my mod will also drop it in chat. All you have to do is like, retweet, and follow this tweet right here. So follow the Twitter account, like and retweet, and then we'll do a random picker roughly around 10:30 today. And the first 5 people who get selected are going to be getting a free account. And obviously, I will be sending you that information on your Twitter. I'll be DMing you whatever your code is. But other than that, right now, just so you know, Apex is running an absolutely insane deal. 90% off. It's ending September 2nd. 90% off. The PA, instead of being 140, it is 85. $37 PA fee for the 250 and the 300. Resets are only 37, and it's 1 day to pass. It does not get better than this. So they're saying it's because of the holiday, but we all inherently know it's because of the increasing competition from everyone offering great deals. There's no better time to be a SIM-funded trader. The fact that there's more and more firms, we're just seeing natural competition increase and increase. So you're seeing crazy, crazy deals like this. So throw your hat into the arena, whether you want to win the $150 of cold hard cash, whether you want to go for the Apex, whether you want to go for both. We're going to be doing the giveaway around 10:30 today. It is all free. It is free to enter this. It is free to enter this. I'm not asking for any money for any entry, anything like that. It is free. But then also just a reminder that this is ending on the 2nd. So if you want to take advantage of it, of course, use that code Goonie. So I'll be reminding you of it, but that's going to be going down around 10:30 today. Today, you're gay. Well, excuse me why I go kill myself. That was mean. That was absolutely mean. Absolutely mean. I'll be getting over it. I'll be getting over it. I don't know if I'm gonna be getting back from that one. Might as well just end the show early today. I'm just gonna have to end the show early today. He's joking, YouTube. I'm not, Trex. I'm not. Probably gonna get banned. Oh, brother. Bitcoin 110. We're holding a little bit. I'm like awkwardly. I did take this long. I thought there was a good structural setup. Actually don't mind it at all. It just hasn't followed through. I like this pump, the pullback. As soon as it started to seemingly put in a higher low, I took a long. My risk is well defined at this recent low. Unfortunately, we just ended up creating a whole new range. So my first target was VWAP, and then I had to reach the next psychological level. So I'm not necessarily down. I guess I could close it out if I don't want to take the market open risk, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Bullish, 10 minutes trying to push, 30 minute was testing, 4 hours still bullish, 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes testing, 30 minutes bearish, 4 hours. So I would like this follow through. Really, I would love a recapture. Where do we start to sell off? Somewhere between 700 and 720. I'm kind of just watching this region right here of where we started selling off and we kind of got back into it. Kind of watching that rough region. That actually, maybe it's better defined on the 4 hour. I think you could visually see this a little bit better. Pretty much this. that white box, I want to see this recaptured because that's roughly where we started selling about 3:30 this morning. Roughly. And then ES already ate up more of it. But I want to see this recapture and that push roughly those blocks. So ideally, like when the market opens, we just push and rip. And if we don't, I'm probably going to get knocked out. But hey, it is what it is. Keeping those losses manageable and just ideally not going on tilt. Trying to not do the stupid stuff that I did the past 2 days of trading way too early. It's just, I don't know. It's just been costing me a lot of money. So I'm going to definitely attempt to keep things calm today and not trade, especially because we have the Chicago PMI report at 9:45 and then also the 10 a.m. report. The 10 a.m. report without a doubt. So trying to not trade before then. As I say that, already in a trade. I'm trying to not do a dumb trade, as in getting into it and then having no reasonable risk. So like maybe I should put a little bit of a caveat on that. And if anything, I want this first trade ideally to be fully locked in even before that 9:45 report. That would be a perfect setup in my book. But we're going to find out. We will be finding out. All right, so before the market opens, don't forget, throw your hat into the arena for the $150 giveaway. That's going to be a marble race. And then also we're giving away 5 different Apex accounts. But on top of it, Apex is running a gnarly 90% off deal. Highly recommend you guys checking out both. You can enter for one of these 5 accounts for free. You could enter for the $150 for free. I'm not asking for anything. It's just a fun thing to do on a Payday Friday. And then obviously the Apex itself, you could use that link there and just remember that code Goonie will get you this I don't think I've seen a deal this good. I don't think I've seen we're getting a little, hey, did I do something right? No way did I do something right. I never do anything right when it comes to the world of trading. I guess this proves even a blind squirrel gets his nuts once in a while. Even a blind squirrel can pull it off. As I'm getting a little bit too cocky and the market's not open, this could still easily dump. I'm just trying to dump one right below this recent high, but also targeting VWAP. And then as soon as that hits, I'd be moving my stop to break even and removing all risk. But what I really need to happen, so I'm looking at these guys up here. So some people are trying to sell at 70. Oh, actually now a lot of people are trying to sell at 70. And then at 80. So I'm hoping we can break through one level of resistance, and then I'm trying to dump my first position at the next level of resistance. So yeah, I'm picking them because of technical levels, but then I'm also monitoring the actual open interest to see where we are at, to see if this can break. All right. So it did get a fill there. Whoever those sellers were did get a fill. We had some aggressive buying. It knocked those guys out. So hopefully we could get that follow through up to the next level. Like I said, my first profit target is right at 80. Pretty much, I don't know, it's within a point of what VWAP is. If I wanted to, I suppose I can move my stop to break even right now and not take the risk of like the market open shenanigans, because like at market open, this could easily dip and then pop. But then on the flip side, you could say it could also pop and then try. Do I want to take the risk of the 930 volatility? Do I want to take that risk? Oh, with my stop, it's so close. It's within 20 points. That is nothing for the NASDAQ. That is nothing. I could close. Okay, so I have a couple options. I could close it right now and lock in a little bit of green. I could move my stop up to break even, and that would increase the chances of me getting knocked out, but there's no risk, and then I still have an opportunity to get this first fill. Or I could leave it exactly how it is, and then I'm risking, a random wick, and it knocks me out, but it also increases the odds of this getting hit. Or I could just completely drop my risk, but that final option seems silly. Seems absolutely silly. Kim Jong-un is the fattest commie I know of. What in the world are you talking about? How does that relate to anything going on right now? I feel like you guys are always just talking about like random ass shit that has nothing to do with this. IWM and Tesla in pre-market. How's Tesla doing in pre-market? Tesla. Jesus. And I got stopped out of this one yesterday for break even. Unfortunately, I was carrying calls on that. Whatever. I didn't lose money. I can't cry that hard. It was literally break even. I think I like made $75 or something. Hang on. What time? Ooh, we are 30 seconds. Am I going to get stopped out before this even opens? Fuck. It's coming for me. It's not even going to give me the shot of market open. At least give me the shot of market open now at this point. I think the volatility is going to knock me out, but I'm going to be disciplined and I'm not moving my stop. I'm not taking on that risk. We're going to see. We're going to find out real soon here, team. We're going to find out real soon. Can I survive 3 seconds? I think I got it. Am I going to get lucky? Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Oh, brother. It was looking good for a second, and now it's looking uniquely bad. This is a position I made like a couple minutes out. I've been in this for a while, so I'm going to be disciplined. If my risk is hit, my risk is hit. My biggest problem is moving my risk. I know that's my biggest problem, so I'm going to do my best to, I guess, avoid it. Just got knocked out. It happens. It happens. This is a very, very, very manageable risk. Not worried about it in the slightest. I have to admit, I was excited for the first 5 seconds right here when it popped. That I was like, oh, dude, it's going to go. But unfortunately, it just took out a couple of the recent lows, and it is what it is. You have, I don't know, I had a 50-50 opportunity. Knowing my luck, remember, my first target was up here at 80. Knowing my luck, it's going to now rip to 80, but it's not healthy to think that way because it only takes one of those times where, like, legitimately you should have gotten out, and it just kind of destroys you from there. So we'll find out. Remember, the closing value from yesterday on the SPY is all the way up here. We are opening in the red. The closing value is 648.92. And then the closing value on the Qs is 577. 577. So I need to wait to see how that plays out. Need to wait to see how that one plays out. All right, let's see how it gets going today. We're going to have the option flow. We could bring up the map. Like I said, I'm doing everything in my power to just wait for the right trade rather than trading early. And I always have that feeling. I'm like, dude, you should be ripping it up. I guarantee this is going for my profit target. The second it got knocked out, that was probably the perfect time to go long here. Remember, my profit target was up here at 80. I bet it's ripping it, and I would have been fine. But whenever I think like that, it's always the times it goes right to it after I get out, and then seemingly the times where I'm like, no, give it a little bit more time, give it a little bit more risk. Those are the times that it like legitimately keeps going against me. So whatever, I took a shot. It's about 50-50. And for anyone who's telling you that they're just right all the time, they're just stupid. No one is going to be right all the time. That's just not how the game of trading works. The best trader in the world, Jim Simons from Renaissance Technologies, was only right 50.75% of the time. He was literally only right not even 51% of the time. So when the best trader in the world is right about 50% of the time, and you're believing people on the internet that they're right 90% of the time, they're absolutely full of shit. Absolutely full of shit. So see him right there. It's bad for my swing positions, but this is a good reminder of why I got out and I honored my risk, because the Qs just broke a little bit of that opening range low, and I would have been down more money. See, I would have been down more money. So this keeps me alive. The Russell's trying to catch a bid there. It's up 0.3%. That's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. I also did pick up Russell calls right at market close yesterday. So hopefully I want to see all three pump. That would be phenomenal. honestly, I wouldn't mind if Bitcoin comes back as well, because that's looking pretty unhealthy at the moment. All right, so since market open, Mag 7 is selling. Since market open, the SPY did pop, now giving it back. Did pop, and now giving it back. Uh, 5 minute, 10 minute. That's not looking good. So maybe the 5 minute catches itself right here, but the 10 minutes bearish, the 30 minutes bearish, the 4 hours still bullish. But watching this, like, you're going to want a quick pop off all these EMAs. Same thing on NQ. NQ on the bearish side, on the 5 minute, 10 minute, and on the 30 minute. The 4 hours attempting to hold, but the shorter time frame stuff, because of that, the sell-off that we saw at like 2:30 in the morning, 3 in the morning, obviously that is still being felt by the market. Still very much being felt. So calm, cool, collected. Remember, we are just waiting to see the 9:45 report. Waiting to see the 9:45 Chicago PMI numbers. That should have a little bit of an impact. But what's going to be more impactful is the stuff coming out at 10 a.m. So today, with respect to reports, we're not done. With respect to drama, we are not done. Remember the whole Lisa Cook, Fed governor, can she get fired? Will she get fired? That type of a deal. That's not going to be decided. Well, it starts. The whole process really starts at 10 a.m. So that's another thing going on. So with all of that in mind, the fact that we are currently here and it's 9:35, is there really a point in trading at this exact moment when we have 10 minutes to go to the first report and then I guess 25 minutes to go until a lot of other stuff comes down? This is the point to see the structure, wait to see how things develop, to identify the flow, to identify the key levels. There's really no point in rushing a trade at this moment. Of course, if you do, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you make a bunch of money, but just statistically, you're playing a rough game. But hey, maybe you want to do that. And maybe you can identify a like super low risk entry and maybe it pays off big. I don't know. Crazier things have happened. Crazier things have definitely happened, my friends. All right, I'm watching this. We're definitely below VWAP. We're definitely trending down ever since 8:31 this morning. Ever since 8:31, we definitely have lower highs and lower lows. But I do want to remind you, over the past really trading week, we've been seeing dips for the first half hour, and then those dips get bought up, and then we push into close. So I feel like I have to always remind people to stay calm, because look at yesterday, the day before, the day before, the day before. This is exactly what's been going on. It's like an initial pop, and then a drop, and then some messed up stuff, and then maybe a little bit more of a sell-off, and then finally somewhere between like 9:45 and like 10:15, the market finds its footing, and then we end up having a nice bullish day. So just because you're seeing a bit of red, like, does it really matter when we're like 7-8 minutes into the day? Like, we don't even have 10 minutes worth of data. So like, just to freak out right now, nah. Not worth it, not worth it. I'm obviously going to be watching these EMAs. I'm obviously going to be watching these key levels. I do want to remind you that we are in the transition zone. We're almost perfectly in the middle of the transition zone between 6,500 and 6,470. Looks like NQ is breaking down the pre-market low. That is not a good sign. And ES is actually still there, so that's not doing the most. But yeah, so NQ just took out the pre-market low somewhere in the 2 a.m. block there. So we just pushed that. But maybe you have some buyers stepping in. I could zoom out and show you a little bit more here. So we just took out whatever the hell this low was. Is there another low? So the 2 to 6 bar. We just took out that low. So there might be a bit of an overreaction. People obviously had some buy orders right there, starting to pop it a little bit. Let's see. I mean, if you're a dip buyer, like if you're really bullish on the day, buying here is not the craziest idea. Like obviously you're fighting the short-term trend. You're trading with the long-term trend. But you just didn't, like, you're just not risking much. Your risk is very, very minimal Obviously, you would have to have the discipline to stick to it, because if it ends up being a waterfall, well, you got to get out. But if you took this trade, like I said, your risk is well defined and you might be able to ride it all the way back. So you only have to be right like 1 in 4 times to pay off those losses and actually be net ahead. So that is the importance of identifying some of these key levels. Obviously, I didn't take the trade. If I was feeling a little bit more degenerate, I probably would have. But I just don't necessarily want to take on this risk of the 9:45 report or the 10 a.m. report. So we'll monitor it, and it's just, we're waiting for that one good opportunity, the one perfect opportunity. And if it never presents itself, well, hey, whatever. At least we got to hang out today. So the Mag 7, the Delta Flow has been selling off for the first 8 minutes, maybe going a little bit flat right now. The SPY, same situation, selling up. Oh, actually, it's still selling off. Yep, the Mag 7 still selling off. Yep, that just got hit again. That got hit. Tesla trying to say everything's getting a little sold off. The Russell is technically green, but it feels like it's about to go red. So good luck on that one. Good luck on that one. Patience, patience, patience. I know there's probably a lot of you trading right now, but ask yourself, should you be trading right now? That's a pretty important question. I'm sure some of you listening to this right now are already ripping positions, whether bullish, bearish, neutrals, Forex, futures, crypto, options. But ask yourself, whether you're up money or down money, regardless of that, should you really be trading right now? Am I dumb for buying calls right now? I'm literally explaining, why is anyone trading right now? You just don't. We're about to get more information. Ideally, you're going to be able to make more informed decisions with more information. So why would you trade right before the information comes out? We don't know. Like, is the information going to be good, bad? Is it going to be neutral? It's a giant question mark. So because of that, most of trading is honestly sitting around doing nothing, telling yourself that have the discipline to do absolutely nothing. Sometimes it could actually get really, really boring because of that. Really, really boring. Once in a while, it feels good because you make that degenerate trade and you get lucky and it just goes your way, and like, hey, whatever, that feels good, and you feel all that dopamine. But if you were to really like journal all of those and look at the net effect on your overall account of trading in that type of an environment, it's probably not good. It's probably not good. What is going on? Okay, so that pushed the low from yesterday on NQ, at least the 10 to 2 block. Yeah, this is the 4 hours, so 10 to 2. So we just tapped that low. Maybe we're attempting to find some support here. We have to be getting pretty close to, yeah, okay. So we're getting close both, well, no. The Qs are getting close to the low from yesterday. The SPY, not so much. The SPY is halfway in the region between yesterday's close and yesterday's low. The Qs getting a little bit closer, but it looks like sweeping that low, we got some buyers stepping in right here. It kind of flushed it at 941. Trying to get a little bit of a pop. You might be able to see it a bit better on the 1 hour. Oh, let me get rid of these. I don't need these anymore. Let me clean up this chart a little bit. All right, remember, we are a couple 3 minutes out. 3 minutes out, 3 minutes out. We're below these EMAs. We're below VWAP. We are below the point of control, and the point of control has a lot of pending sell orders, a lot of passive pending sell orders right up here at 650. So kind of a psychological level, now kind of an important market level. That's where most volume has been traded today. As you can see, we have some support just below 600. We have sitting buy orders at 605, but more at 595. But does any of it really matter when we have to just wait these next 3 minutes? Maybe the report's good, maybe it's bad. If you ended up taking this sweep trade right here, not this one. If you ended up taking this sweep trade, obviously your risk should be that low. You don't want to risk, like, if you entered this long, if you're like, okay, double bottom, and you already identified it as a key level and you're long, maybe roughly in the realm of like 6 to 610, somewhere in this 10-point region, your risk is there. Because think about how this plays out. Either you're right and we bounce and it rips. The other option is, okay, you might be thinking, well, I'm going to give it a little bit more room. But if you give it that much more room, how much more room are you going to give it? What if this is actually a bad report that we're about to get in a minute and a half and it's just a massive vomit? Like, do you really want to risk blowing out your entire account? Which is why you have to be very steadfast in sticking to your risk, and most likely you were just knocked out. Maybe you gave it like a couple points of leeway, but even if you gave it a couple points of leeway, you're already knocked out right now. And this is kind of the danger of trading before reports, because of not only the unknown effect of the report, whether 50-50, bullish or bearish, but you're seeing all this like volatility coming into it. So if by some reason you decided to take a short trade early this morning and decided to ride it, I mean, it was a degenerate trade. Obviously, it worked out in your favor, but still, the report's about to come out. So still put in your stop. Like, don't, if you're up a decent amount of money, especially if it's a multi like ATR move, why risk anything? Like at worst, just keep it break even, especially if you're already beyond your buffer and whatnot. But remember, the game of active trading has much more to do with risk management than anything else. It's the people who are very good at risk management that end up, their accounts go higher and higher and higher. It's all the other people who are like, no, this is going to be the lucky time, or breaking your rules at this, that, the other thing. And we all have those excuses that you end up losing it. But anyway, Chicago PMI coming out in 3, 2, 1. What's this initial reaction? Apparently down. Chicago PMI just hit the tape. SPY not liking it. Q's not liking it. Russell decently fine with it. Tesla not liking it. Bitcoin not liking it. What were the actual numbers there? 41.5 when they expected 46.6, and the previous was 47.1. So the PMI, that report, the initial reaction down, and shout out to Profit, but those numbers did miss. They did miss. Yeah, not so good. And just to let you know, we still have more numbers coming out. We have more numbers coming out in about 15 minutes. The Qs are heading to the low from yesterday. The Qs just took out the low from yesterday. We've now had a 2 standard deviation move from VWAP, which is statistically rare to the point of a 2 standard deviation move. So maybe it's going to have a little bit of a relief bounce from here, like just odds wise. Like I said, at the 2 standard, we're to the south side of a 2 standard deviation move. So whether to the north or to the south, statistically rare. A lot of the times when you get into that extreme nature, you have some mean reverting traders that come in. But if it's news related, I find it tough to mean revert that, because generally it means like the news had like a reason for some bit of like sell off. But like I said, this is a patience play today. We are at the low from yesterday on the Qs, and we are not far away on the SPY. This is shaping up to be a pretty shitty day. Yeah, shaping up to be pretty shitty. Bitcoin is vomiting. Avago's down 3%. Nvidia's down 3%. Oh, Netflix vomited, gave back yesterday. Apple's pretty much break even. Meta's down. There's a lot of red. The only green I'm seeing is a little bit of small tech, but that's just, or small cap, not small tech, small cap, but that's just barely green by 22 cents, 0.09%. Shit is getting rocked right now, folks. Looks like there's quite a bit of selling specifically in Nvidia. Where is that? Yeah, Nvidia getting goosed. Palantir, Microsoft, Apple is actually showing a bit of strength. Netflix, not so good. MicroStrategy, nothing. Meta is getting clocked starting at 9:45. Avago clocked since market open. AMD down. Hood, not much. Russell flat. NASDAQ really got clocked there at 9:44. Actually, 45 seconds before the report came out, the NASDAQ took a hit. Mag 7 is just getting beat up. S&P 500, maybe a double bottom. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is, maybe the Qs are going to find support right here at the low. That's not the craziest thing. The SPY has a little bit more distance to go, but it is pretty much, has a little bit more room to the bottom of this transition zone. We'll see. I wouldn't be the most surprised if buyers stepped in here on the Qs, like right at this low. We've actually seen that trade play out already once this week. We got to the previous day's low. Buyers stepped in, and it was probably the best entry of the day. Just because it happened once this week doesn't mean it's going to happen again, and I'm not really seeing that many buyers actually step in at the moment. But let's see. Like, we're still beyond a 2 standard deviation move from VWAP, which is rare. Dude, this is just vomiting it all back. All back. Jesus Louises. Can some buyers step in or not? What do we have going on? NQ just made a fresh low. The Q's made a fresh low. The SPY made a fresh low. Even the Russell's losing it. The market is not stoked. The market is not stoked. I'm trying. All right. If we were to bounce right now, would I take that trade with the 10 a.m. numbers coming out? We have consumer sentiment and maybe potentially Michigan numbers. I don't know if the Michigan numbers are actually coming out today. All I know is that there's stuff going out at 10 a.m. that is obviously important. Netflix is getting hit. Fuck. Netflix taking out 12.15. Dude, semis, NVIDIA, Avago, getting goosed. Getting goosed right now. Wow, what a turn. How's the daily chart on all this looking? SPX about to take out yesterday's low. Maybe we're going to get a rotation back to the bottom of this overall channel that we've kind of been following for quite a while, but watch that breakdown of 65. The SPY, pretty much the same thing. The Qs already took out the low, so you might be able to see this better on NDX. But right here, we kind of saved ourselves on one attempt, popped up, putting in a lower high now. We actually did crack. Today is gonna be interesting. The Russell's actually holding. That's fine. Bitcoin looking legitimately weak, clearly lower highs and lower lows. NVIDIA did tap a fresh high, but no follow through, still kind of in the range, but near the bottom end of the range. Avago putting in a lower high, getting clapped. NVIDIA potentially the same thing, but still holding these EMAs. Tesla, yeah, maybe a double, triple top type of a situation. Palantir's just flat. Apple's looking decent. Apple's actually green here. Meta, lower highs, looking kind of lethargic. Microsoft, yeah, everything's just like kind of pinned to its EMAs right now. Hood, maybe bottoming here. BITX looking horrible. All right, we have 8 minutes. I'm trying to kill 8 minutes. Maybe that's the bottom. Buyers coming in right below the low. That's not the most insane thing. If you took that long, obviously you have well-defined risk and just honor it. That's the thing, is can you find the discipline in yourself to actually get out when you need to get out if this low is cracked. All right, S&P 500 flow. IWM is now going. There might be a little bit of a rotation now. A little bit of a rotation. Oh, how big of a risk is that? 25. That's kind of a sizable risk. Is it worth the risk? It's 952 structurally. Mag 7 is getting a bit of a pop. SPY did. It's now kind of giving a little bit of it back. I do like this setup. I don't necessarily like the time of the day, but the Mag 7 is finally seeing some positive flow here. Oh, I'm being so tempted. What to do. Oh, if there was no announcement at 10 a.m., I probably would have gone long here at 547 at 951. I probably would have gone long right there, somewhere between 947 and 950, roughly this bar. But there is an announcement at 10. And I feel like I need to be disciplined and wait for it. Google's on the move, new high for Google. So Google's catching a bit of a bid. Apple's catching a bit of a bid. Wait for the Michigan numbers, let it bottom after the news. I know that, yeah, that's like what you should do. If I were giving you guys advice, that's the exact advice I would give you. But there's something in your brain that you're like, well, hang on, should I have the position before just in case it explodes and you miss out on like a 30, 40 point move? Oh, but that's not a good way to think, because what if you get clocked by 30 or 40 points? It's kind of not asymmetric in the risk reward, but asymmetric with respect to like blowing out your account or not. Oh, but something like that. That is a higher low. Shoulder, head, shoulder. You have well-defined risk. Oh, this is tempting. I'm being tested by the market gods right now. All right, we have it in about 4.5 minutes. 4.5 minutes. Well, I guess this is the market gods are letting me know, Matthew. They're saying, hey, you would have been long at 47. You would be really sweating it right about now. And actually, I would almost be knocked out. And right now, I'd be yelling, like, why didn't I just wait for the report? So this is that good reminder, folks. I'm being reminded of why you have to wait, even though, like, not that looks tempting. We're taking out these recent highs, like that without a doubt looks tempting of like, oh, we're about to recover, and going into these announcements, knowing that I would have gotten rocked there. I feel like the market gods were testing me a little bit, and now they're saying, you know what? Here's your prize for waiting. You would have gotten your second, and actually 40, 800, so I would have been down like 1,400 per account right now. I would have been down 1,400. So it feels like, if anything, I just saved myself $900. It really does feel like I saved myself 900 buckaroos. 900 buckaroos. We're back down to that 2 standard deviation move, and we're awkwardly trying to kill another 3 minutes. So you know what? Maybe we should do, okay, yeah. The Mag 7 tried to recover, and then it just got clocked right there at 956. The SPY tried to recover as well, a little bit of a bounce, and then got double clocked, even had a flow alert. So maybe we can finally actually get a bottom here. Maybe. The SPY's coming up to the low from yesterday. The Russell is coming up to the low. Actually, is it? I don't have it marked out. It's below its closing value, though, for sure. SPY just touched its low value from yesterday. Right here, you can see it. We actually are now breaking the bottom side of the transition zone on SPX, and we are coming up to that low. Your next, if it keeps puking, your target would be 450, followed by 425. Those would be my next downside targets if I were playing it, but currently I am not playing it. If anything, I am kind of waiting for this trend line, I suppose, to see if it tests or not, just to see if we're having a bit of an overreaction and we bounce out of it. I don't know if we are or aren't. It's going to be dependent on how good this report either is or isn't. So we're going to be finding out shortly. But I'm watching this trend line. Obviously, I'm watching the flow. Did we actually bottom here? Are people going to buy this and We're going to be finding out shortly because it comes out in 90 seconds. So can Matt stay patient enough to not trade for another 90 seconds? 90 seconds is all I have to do. I just need to muster up my patience right here to just not trade before it. All right, I've almost survived 1/3 of that. Now we're down to a minute. Well, while we're waiting for that last minute, don't forget we're doing a Payday Friday giveaway. We're giving away 5 different Apex accounts and $150 of cold hard cash. So this is where you could enter for the cold hard cash. We're doing the marble race. And then on Twitter, all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. It's all pinned to the top of chat. It's all in the description of the video. It's all going down today around 10:30. And obviously, we're just celebrating this major Labor Day sale, 90% off. Crazy deal. It's ending soon. So check it out. Don't forget, you can get all these deals with the code Goonie, but on top of it, yes, we are giving away 5 of those accounts and $150 of cold hard cash. Cold hard cash. All right. Where are we at? 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Dude, I was telling you, I almost wanted to buy this dip right here too. I'd be long at 26, already red. I'd be happy for a second, and then I would have been back to being pissed off. Funny how that works. All right, the recent high, the recent low. All right, the report came out. Initial reaction was down, kind of quickly bouncing right back up though. Found some buyers right at 500. Yes, buyers right there. Buyers at 510 as well. Sellers all the way up here at 85. Oh, how are we going to react to this? How are we going to react to this? Here's a look at the flow. Potentially bottoming. Not much of a reaction, honestly. Patience.
Order submitted.
Where did I say those sellers were at? 80. They were at 85, but they dropped those orders. We have support at 510. We have support at 500. So they're right up until a minute after the report. Right up until a minute after, there were a lot of people trying to sell at roughly 85, 86, something like that. They dropped it. Sellers just came in here at this recent high. There are buyers at 510. There are buyers at 500. We'll see how this goes. Taking it right here. A lot of sellers just stepped in at 550. I'm curious if that's going to get rejected or if they're actually going to absorb that sell side liquidity. Some buyers are trying to step in here at 25. So it seems weaker buys at 25, a lot of aggressive or a high amount of people attempting to sell at 50. Fuck. Come on. Are these buyers going to be enough or is there going to be enough aggressive selling just to take this out? They're trying to put up some support, but that's a lot of reasons. This is 812 contracts. That's a huge fucking sell position. If it takes it out, that's a fair amount of buying. That's a lot of contracts, folks. Look how deeply red it is in the numbers up here above my head. Like, compared to the 67 attempting to buy right here. That's a lot of sell side. So if we take it out, that actually makes me confident of a push back up to maybe 600, but that's a huge if. This is so many. What the fuck? Who is doing that, man? That's a lot. Like a lot, team. Well, we bounced out of there again. Does it have enough in it? I think this one's coming for me. Fuck. Yeah, it's coming for me. That's just too much. This got created after my trade. That's a lot, dude. quite a bit.
Order filled.
Yeah, I just got knocked out. Wait, no, I didn't. I don't know what that was.
Order filled.
Now I just got knocked out on that. Damn, this trade came in about 2 to 3 minutes after mine. It got executed here at 10:02. That's a lot. Holy shit. So once again, it's inappropriate for me to say this is a trade. It's sitting pending orders. Jesus. Wow. That is brutal. Yep, and now they're just rocking all of that as well. Yeah, so I thought basically waited. Great. We took out some recent highs. We had an attempt at higher lows, and it just got faded right after. And obviously, I was using this recent low. I could have tried to be 20. I don't know. Honestly, I still think that was a good risk point. Just didn't break my way, and that's sometimes how trading is going to go. But yeah, try to play the trend reversal. Obviously, the trend not reversing. So as soon as it was evident that the trend wasn't reversing by the fact that we still have these lower highs and these lower lows, just cutting the trade loose when we just made that fresh low. So I'm actually happy with that trade. I'm happy with the patience. I suppose I'm happy with the discipline of the trade is probably a more accurate thing to say rather than the result of the trade. But remember, you're not in control of the result of the trade. It's impossible for you to be in control of the result of the trade. You're just in control of the decision-making involved going into it. And right now we have a very evident trend to the downside, a very evident. All right, wow, that's just getting hammered. Absolutely hammered right now. Holy shit. Yeah, this is leading to quite the sell-off. The market has not been able to catch itself. On the 1 minute chart from market open until now, it's pretty much just lower highs and lower lows. Nvidia maybe double bottoming here. Yeah, there was a little bit of life. Ooh, even Bitcoin, I'm now getting an alert of a legit breakdown. Yeah, Bitcoin getting smoked over here. Might have a little bit of support at 107.5. Maybe 105 is coming up next. But once again, it's a succession of lower highs and lower lows, a clear bearish trend in the short term. Golly, this is getting rocked today. I'm going to give it another wave. Well, we might be coming up right here to 50. Let's watch this. I'm watching maybe buyers coming at 50. Maybe they don't. I have no idea. I can just tell you it's a key level, and I'll be paying attention to the market's reaction there. The Mag 7, nonstop puke. SPY, nonstop puke. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, all bearish. 4 hours actually testing bearish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, and 4 hour now bearish. Fuck, dude. Wow. Yeah. Could be a top. Could be this rotation back down now. We might be setting up a push to another 50 points to 6,400. On NDX, how's this? Oh, we're actually pushing this breakdown line. Wow. Holy shit. Buyers are nowhere to be found as of now. I mean, we've seen crazier recoveries, but it's not looking good at the moment. Intraday, we've exclusively had lower highs and lower lows. Yeah, maybe buyers step in right here, roughly 50. But let's see. I would say if you're attempting to throw on a shorter term bullish trade, you'd probably at minimum want to wait for this trend line to break, because just by definition in the short term, if you're doing a short term trade, short term is clearly down. So in my mind, it doesn't make the most sense to throw on a short term bullish trade unless we are at least attempting to create a new trend. And right now, I mean, you could see the successions of the highs and the lows. They're both lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low. Like, we're just, by definition, the correction has entered the game. Yeah, it could be mean reverting a little bit because we did just hit an all-time high, so you have some profit taking. We're going into a holiday weekend, that type of stuff. We could look at how vol is changing. This might give us some insights to what the fuck's going on. Oh, okay. Vol is increasing for today. Premium is spiking over there. We don't need this. Yeah, this preem. The vol. Interesting movements on vol, honestly. You have some bets. Implied vol is still dropping. I find that interesting. Why is implied vol still dropping even though we're getting hit right now? You'd expect the implied vol to be increasing. That's interesting. Interesting. Wow. What a just... that waterfall. Absolutely puking. Well, we are at support, but to be fair, we were at support at 956, at 957, and we've been doing this thing where we come to support, we bounce and puke. We come to support, we bounce and we puke. We come to support, bounce and puke. This one, is this support going to hold? This is a key technical level. It's a key psychological level. It's even a key gamma level. We're at it pretty much now. We're at the spot gamma implied one-day move. I'm not necessarily at the exact moment interested in chasing this to the downside because I don't like to chase at extremes. I would want to see the structural setup once again of the bounce and the puke, but this might end up being an actual bounce. I have to be careful about chasing it just because I don't believe I have much more leeway here in terms of how many hits I could take, but we'll see. We'll see. It's 10:10, which also means we're 20 minutes out potentially from the giveaway. $150 cold hard cash. My model drop it in chat. We're also giving away 5 Apex accounts. Don't forget to use that code Goonie on Apex to take advantage of their insane 90% off deal. Insane 90. Even the Russell's now fucking puking. What are we doing, dude? Where are the buyers? Okay, maybe a little bit of a... Those sellers, there's a lot. What? So they never got that fill. It's that same block of 810. The exact same block of 810. Just over 800. Someone is aggressively trying to sell, but it's 100 points higher than where we are. That's $2.50 in the queues. Are we going to revert? I mean, that's a huge... They're trying to sell all the way up here. This high that we saw right at the consumer sentiment report. Michigan 4.8, expected 4.9, 3.5, consumer sentiment. So consumer sentiment came in lower than expected, but Michigan's inflation numbers are also lower than expected. You'd actually expect that to be bullish. Dude, we're getting cracked again. Wow. Yeah, maybe it really wants to just touch this 50 level. The flow bounced a little bit from 10.04 up to 10.10, but not much of a relief. The Mag 7 is still puking. The NASDAQ is also still puking. All right. I mean, it's trying to slow down. You could see the velocity of the sell-off has really, like, we just had, 5 minutes of extreme selling, and now the past 5+ minutes, it's slowed down. It's still looking questionable, though. The Russell's getting clocked. But this is, we're about to find out. If it were as easy to definitively tell you, yes, we will bounce or we will break down, you would have many, many billionaire retail traders. But it's not. Because inherently, whether we bounce or we break down, it's dependent on other traders. Are they buying or are they selling? And unless you know what the entire world is doing right now at this moment, it's kind of guesswork, and that's what we're doing. We're trying to guess to see if we could be on the right side of this. We're trying to see if we could guess to be on the right side of this. Nvidia's kind of going flat. Nasdaq is still getting clocked. Mag 7, dude, that's looking bad. The SPY did pop, gave some back. But maybe some people are honoring this 50 level. Technically, we hit 50.64. I need to be patient here. I feel like I've been really, really trying to buy this dip, but maybe I need to wait officially for a higher low. Oh, man. Is this just going to go without me? Is it just going to absolutely rip? Is this just, are we about to commit one of the greatest fake outs ever? All right, we're trying to, the S&P 500 is trying to take out these recent highs. So remember, we're tracking the recent highs and the recent lows and where they are in relation to each other. So the recent high right here, I'm watching these two, obviously getting clocked here. Let's open up NQ. Let's open up this. Kind of watching this zone. Kind of watching this zone. This big succession of selling right here. The 10 a.m. report came out. We popped. I tried to catch that long, risking this low. Obviously, it vomited. I got clocked, got out, and now it's seemingly creating this new range. And I'm just curious, will there be a reversionary bounce through this, or are we just going to keep going with the lower highs, lower lows, and keep puking? The options market is not catching its footing at all. Yeah, it's just getting beat the fuck up. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour all bearish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour all bearish. Ooh, that is not a good sign. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. Do I really think that this is going to get cracked here? Basically, do I think 50 is going to get cracked? Mag 7 is not looking good. SPY just dropped right down to it. Huh. Oh, what do I think? What in the world do I think? If I go short, my risk would be 67. We're trading at 40. That's quite a bit of risk. The vol, what's the ATR right now? 22 points per minute. So the ATR is nuts. The ATR is nuts. We're pushing right back up into these EMAs as we speak. That's clearly down. If this bounce starts to fail, I think I'm going to take a short position. But it's tough because, yeah, that's a lower high, but this is also a lower low. I'm curious which one we're going to take out first here. Do we take out that high or do we take out this low? Which one are we going to crack first? 42, 42. This is pushing. Maybe. We just tagged it. So this made a fresh low there. Pushed slightly lower, maybe a little bit of a wick situation. And now we're coming right back up to that high. Right back up to that high. How is SPX looking? All right, that's not so good. That's not so good. We did bounce a little bit up to 52 here, but that's definitely a lower high. 50, if that takes out 52. That takes out 52. Decisions. Decisions. The trend is clearly down. Where are we on the hour? The hour, we just cracked that. But we just swept some sort of low here from August 27th. And then there's definitely some like a wick there, wick. So people might be targeting these levels in the low 400s. 400s itself is a bit interesting. That's not looking so good. Fuck it. All right.
Order submitted.
Second I do it, it bounces. All right. Literally the second I do it. So I was trying to be patient and I'm like, oh, it's failing the EMA. It popped up, came through, didn't hold the EMA. I waited for that first close below and instantaneously it went against me. Instantaneously.
Order filled.
I just got fucking clocked by that. Wow. I really thought I was actually being crazy patient too. I was like, okay, it made this low, equal high. We're starting to break down. It started to chop all these EMAs. Like in my mind, I was like, dude, Matt, you were just so incredibly patient. I was like, honestly, I was already like patting myself on the back. I was like, Matt, the patience you are showing today, lower highs, lower lows, wait for it. Nope, it failed. We started to curl back down. Well-defined risk. Like, honestly, I was like, dude, Matt, you just crushed it. I really, really deeply believe. I was like, dude, Matt, like, look at you, man. You're crushing it. Crushing it. Like, look at all that patience you just had. Oh, that's painful. So I have about two more slugs that I can do here. About two more. Man, I was looking like even this, that's set up. We puke, we kind of bounce, and right here we put in this lower high. We started to break. We cracked that low. I'm like, oh, here comes the vomit. Dude, there's nothing more humbling than the market to do something like that to you, where truly I was like, Matt, congrats, man. I was like, dude, you were so right here. There's no way you can tell me that this setup right there, this bar of like, okay, we have this giant puke. It's with trend, bearish, breaking down on the 4 hour, options flow. Once again, we weren't here. We were at this point. Remember, it's not this new information. We were right about here. Oh, that's so painful. And right before these buyers step in, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? I was sitting here, I'm like, dude, finally, you were patient. This is like the setup. And right fucking there, it's like, nope, actually, this lower high is going to get taken out the next bar. The next bar, dude, that is so brutal. That is like actually comically brutal. Yep. To the point that we're actually testing that now. That's fucking nuts, man. Nothing more humbling than trading. Now we're in this zone that I was telling you about that I kind of care about. Oh, the question now is, will I go short again if it snaps this trend line? Will I go short again if it were to snap the trend line? Oh, I cannot believe that. Like, fuck me, dude. That is coping hard. Not coping. That's the inputs to the system. We're checking it out. Like this idea of coping is like, did you follow the system or not? It sucks I took a loss, but I actually followed the system very stringently. So I'm happy about that part of at least being disciplined enough to stick to it and not rush it. It just, once again, like sometimes you take unfortunate beats. That's part of trading. And if you think it's not part of trading, obviously you haven't been trading. You can be, as I was, just very, very patient, waiting for the setup. And even when the setup comes, you can still very much lose. But now the tough one is now the tough part is up to 500. Where are those sellers? Someone was saying that they moved them even lower. That giant chunk. I don't see them anymore. They might have gotten somewhat absorbed there. Oh, what's this next pivot going to be? What's this next pivot going to be? All right, we're testing one trend line, so we don't quite need that one anymore. Yeah, we don't need the extreme one. Is this on the 3-minute just going to end up being another lower high? Like, are we about to just start cracking here? Which way is this going to go? Which way is this? What way are the options pointing? The options are attempting to recover since 1020. The SPY is attempting to recover since 1016, but will it? But will it? But will it? But will it? Oh, I think I could take 2 more losses and then I lose these accounts, which that sucks, but also at least it's 90% off an Apex, you know? At least it's 90% off on Apex. Which way are we going, Tonto? That's all bearish, 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 bearish. Well, this is testing. That's what's interesting is ES is right at the 4-hour 50 EMA. NQ is actually legitimately breaking down. Legitimately breaking down. Oh, how do we do this? How do we do this? Uh-oh. Fuck. Do I follow the signal? I have to. That's the point of having a system. Well,
order submitted.
We're going to find out real soon if I'm about to blow the fuck out. It fired. There's nothing really too special to it. We puked, we bounced, and we just took out these lows. And to minimize your risk, you get in as quickly as you can with your risk at the recent low. We puked, we bounced, we puked, we bounced, and now, I don't know. I'm targeting that low, and we're going to find out. Hopefully I just don't catch a succession of bad beats here, you know? Hopefully I don't catch a succession of bad beats. I'm trading with trend. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour are all bearish. The delta flow throughout the days to the downside. I am trading with trend. I'm not fighting the trend. It's just, is it going to be a double bottom here? Bearish, 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 bearish. Testing. Bearish, 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 bearish. This has not broken yet. SPX 50 still could be support. That could easily be a double bottom. So I'm trying to be mindful of that. But even this, this one might be confusing. I shouldn't put that up, but we also don't need that. We ran right up to the trend line and got smacked. Now it could be a double bottom out of it, and it could be a puke below it. No one in this world knows. It's just about you and your risk management. And I see some sellers at 500, so we got close to 500, seemingly got smacked, and that's exactly where my risk is. I'm literally just risking this recent high. You could probably see it better on this. A better entry for me would have been at 73 instead of 63. It's just moving very quickly. It just cracked these lows. So now the question is we see this official lower high. Is this low right here a higher low, or are we just waiting for it to build out and crack this recent low? And just in case it's a double bottom, that's I should move this up by a tick. That's exactly why I have my first order. Dude, is this just going to be bad beat palooza for me? I mean, even with 50-50 opportunities, you would think that like by now it's getting statistically crazy. 50, 25, 12.5. Even if it's 50-50 distributed, you'd think that me losing this one, there's a 6% chance of losing this many in a row. Fuck, dude. Bad beat palooza. Basically, I'm watching SPX. I'm trading NQ, but I'm watching both SPX, or technically ES, and SPX and SPY, but also I'm watching the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ across the board. See, this is another lower high right here. We tried to bounce. We took out these highs. Nope, failed, and we just put in a lower high. Dude, this is... Am I really gonna take another bad beat loss? You can't lose. You got the Buffalo shirt. It feels like I very much can lose. This is gonna get knocked again. Are you fucking kidding me? That's a higher low now.
Order filled.
Fuck me, dude. That's crazy. How many fucking bad beats in a row can you take? Yeah, it just hit it again. Look at that setup. Holy fuck. It just ended up. Dude, if this vomits right here and goes all the way down, I'm going to lose my mind. Oh, there's like psychologically, there's not many more things frustrating than being like, okay, I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to do exactly what I need to do. And you do it. And then like just for a succession in a row, you just get fucking knocked. That short was a beautiful short at 1027. Looking at this setup, no one will ever convince me otherwise that this short was not an appropriate short. We puked, we bounced, we puked. We puke, we bounce, we puke. We puke, we bounce. Like right here. We bounce, you wait, you're patient, don't chase it. All right, cool. It goes up, it goes up, it goes up. Awesome. Starts to fail. I will never, ever, ever be convinced that this isn't a high odds play. I will never, ever, ever be convinced that this isn't a beautiful entry right here at 1027. Don't chase it on the way down. Wait for the reversion. All right, you have that risk point, and it gets clocked anyway. And like, especially with the peak being off a key level, I will like, you'll never, ever be able to convince me that that isn't a high odds play. Ever, ever, ever. But that's also a sobering reminder of the way the market works, of just because something is high odds, that doesn't mean it's guaranteed, which means you have to be playing with obviously appropriate size. And now we're kind of in that awkward, like, it did push it to 500. Is it just going to fail right here? Dude, knowing my luck. It knocked me out, went a couple more points. Knowing my luck, it's going to like just randomly vomit and go to wherever I possibly need it to go. I will never, ever, 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 ever be convinced otherwise that wasn't a high odds play. That exact setup taken time and time again, I bet is net profitable. It just so happened that I took it the time that I didn't have as much leeway as I needed, and it ended up knocking me out after a succession of already shit trades. Fuck. That's crazy. And here we go. This is going to fucking... I'll never be convinced otherwise. Everything was in favor of that. Momentum, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour. Options flow is shit all day. Like all day, the options are just getting completely dumped on. So you have price structure, price momentum, and options flow, and the big guys are selling. That's fucking insane. Yeah, you'll never convince me otherwise. Ever, 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 ever. Ever, ever, ever. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Right there. We'll see how that goes. Ever, ever, ever that this is going to be the point that it pivots. No fucking way. right like 2 bars later, I'm in on 1027, the actual breakdown bar. 2 bars later, that's the bar it pivots. Fucking no way. No way otherwise. Well, obviously, today, not my day. But that doesn't mean we can't do a giveaway. So we are going to do a giveaway. Remember, we're giving away $150 cold hard cash. We're going to be picking a person off of YouTube, off of Rumble, and off of Locals. The winner will be getting the $150 of cold hard cash. And then we're going to be doing also simultaneously a giveaway on Twitter to enter. Well, first of all, to enter here, my mom will throw in chat. It's in the description of the video if you want to play on that one. If you want to play on the Twitter one, all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. It's my pinned account. It's also pinned to the top of chat. We're giving away 5 of those, but also you can buy one of these right now. It is a dirt cheap deal, 90% off. So you just have to do what looks like 41 other people have figured out how to do, because all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing this. So we might as well do some giveaways. Why not? Dude, I have such a fucking sneaky suspicion that when this cracks, it's going to go right to where I need it to. These motherfuckers. These motherfuckers. Oh, brutal. Brutal. What did it push to? Just enough to knock me out. I got knocked out at 500. It went to 506. If this pukes here, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. But it probably will, because that's how the market gods like to behave. That is what they like to do. All right, cool. Well, let's start picking our competitors for the marbles race. We're going to do the Apex giveaway second, just so everyone knows. All right, timers, where are we at? 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 Brother. No fucking way. That's crazy, dude. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. All right, cool. Giveaways. All right, timers, random numbers. Next, anyone can win. Next, it's from 1 to 100. All right, guess away. Guess away. All right, the Real Spicy Chef. Real Spicy Chef. Obviously, don't leave chat, because if you are the winner, I need a way to give you the money. So please do not reel, Mr. Spicy Chef. All right, sick. So we have that. Random number generator. All right, we're going to do between 10 and 25. 16 is the answer. All right, so we're going to do 16 comments past mark. 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Mighty Megatron. All right, congrats on being a competitor. Mighty, same thing for you. Do not leave chat, because if you are the winner, we're going to need a way to reach out to you. Do not leave chat. All right, and then for the locals competitors, we have 79 entries. So between 1 and 79, 10, 69, and 56. All right, so 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up Periscope. We'll call you Periscope. All right, next one in order was 56, so 25 on the first page, 25 on the second page, 1, 2, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. Have Lickmer. We'll just call you Have. I'm confused. What was that? 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. River. All right. And then, so we have Real Spicy Chef from YouTube, Mighty Megatron from Rumble, Periscope, River, and Have from Locals. All right, cool. So we have all of our competitors for the Marbles race. This is for $150 of cold hard cash, but do not leave quite yet. View games, because we're also going to be doing the Apex giveaway. We're doing the Apex giveaway. Apex. So I'm booting this up so we could get the race rocking. And then do not leave, because you still, and that's up on Twitter. So if you want to do that during the race and start competing, feel free to. Get started. No, I don't want this. Cancel. I want this. Continue. All right. Race. Random map. All right. There are going to be 5. We were doing hop, skip, and jump. All right. Interesting. I don't think we've done that one before. So representing the Real Spicy Chef from YouTube, Mighty Megatron from Rumble, Periscope from Locals, River from Locals, and then also Have. All right, we have our 5 people, 5 racers. Good. All right, let's get ready. Let's get ready. This is booting up. All right, before we get rocking on this hop, skip, and a jump, which seems to be a race, a giant cannon. They have to survive the cannon, and then they have to make it all the way down there. Before we get rocking with all of that, obviously, cast your votes. Who do you think's going to win? Who in the world do you think has been putting in the training, the dieting, the mental fortitude to practice to really win this? Really win this, because your votes might very well have a huge impact. All right, let's get rocking, because we are going to go in 3, 2, 1, and we are off. All right, who's going? Who's going to make the first jump? Periscope leading the way down, but lot of time left today. Lot of time. Who's gonna make the first drop? Who's gonna make the first drop? River making the first drop. All right, let's go along for the cannon shot. Oh, actually no, they have to get through this hamster wheel-esque thing. All right, Have. Have. Let's ride along with Have. Can he make it? Oh, he survives. Have with an amazing shot. Wow, out of nowhere. Whoa, what are we doing? Mighty Megatron. Ooh, dead. Real Spicy Chef. Ooh, dead. So Have making a move. There are 3 surviving racers. River making the shot right now. River. All right, never mind. Scratch that. There are 2 surviving traders. Have, are you gonna survive? At this point, it's survival, not even necessarily victory. Periscope and Have are the last 2. All right, who's it gonna be? Periscope. Have just got harpooned. Will Periscope? Oh fuck. Periscope. All right, Have, you are the only surviving racer. Can you make the drop? Not only the winner, but also the only surviving racer. Oh, the only surviving racer. 4 dead, 1 alive. Clerical error. Must have been a clerical error. All right, congratulations, Have. I'll be reaching out to you later today for the $150 of cold hard cash. I'll be sending that to you. Be on the lookout at your DMs or whatever information you gave me to reach out to you. I will be doing that. Here, let me get this. free up some of these computer resources here. Hello? Hello? My computer's frozen. Team? All right, there we are. All right, so we're not done yet. We're still giving away 5 Apex accounts. Reminder, Apex is running a crazy 90% off deal until September 2nd, so check that out. Use that code Goonie when you are checking out. But here, all you have to do to enter is like, retweet, and follow. It's my pinned account at Matt_Kohrs. It's pinned to the top of chat, but like I said, all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. Like, retweet, and follow, and you will be in. So it looks like slight differential here, 84 versus 96. You're off by 12. Remember, to be in, you have to like, retweet, and follow. And we are going to be rocking with that shortly as soon as I can figure this out. What's going on with the market? Oh, it's going to fail here. What are we doing? What are we doing, team? Russell's getting, yeah, we're turning back over here. Jesus. Ugh. 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 All right. Twitter. Wait, let me do this. All right. Twitter giveaway picker. I found one this morning right here. The X picker. All right. Close pop up. Okay. So what I need to do is get the URL, put that in there. You have to like, retweet, winner count. There's going to be 5. And you also, multiple accounts allowed, press enter after each account. Okay, and it must follow me. Okay, so did I do this right? I copied and pasted. It ends in 734. 734. You have to like and have retweeted and follow that account. It is Matt_Kohrs. All right, we're gonna get rocking. Let me get this so we can send our 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is for a free Apex account. It looks like some people have issues. All you have, like, folks, I'll give you 30 more seconds. It's not hard. Like, retweet, and follow. To enter. Like, retweet, follow. It's my pinned account. Pinned account, it's not a difficult thing. It's like, to retweet, follow. Boom, 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 boom. Like, it's right there in black and white. Well, white and black, I suppose. That is not looking so good. All right, let's go optional. No, I don't care about that. Searching for a winner. Please wait. Ooh. What if you don't have a Twitter? You're shit out of luck. Oh, we got our 5. Oh, okay. I should probably screenshot this. It just did our 5 straight up. All right. I don't want to lose this, so let me screenshot it. Downloads. All right. I want to save this. It looks like Napoleon Rob. Can we open up Maddie Analytics? Lewis Warren. Who do we have here? Jersey for Life, Rob, Ben D. Looks like we have he definitely was just in fantasy football for sure. Matthew, Analytics, and then also Lou. That was pretty funny. All right, folks, you are the 5 winners. I will be DMing you. So be ready for that. I'll DM you right after today's show and get you that code for a free Apex account. Dude, this is getting fucking cracked right here. It's time for me to start cutting bait, people. It's time for me to start cutting bait. Fuck. Look at this float. NASDAQ getting tilted. Mag 7 we're getting tilted. I can't even. Brutal. That trade it's going to work for me too. Remember, I was in at, what was I in at? 63. Oh, I would have been green right now. That's fun. Hey, that's fun for me. Hey, that's a super, super fun thing. That is absolutely awesome. 100% love it. Completely love getting top ticked out just to get destroyed. I like it. It's actually what I pay the big bucks for. Really, really fun for me. Super fun. A lot of you might wonder. Here, I gotta fucking revisit what I'm doing with my life. I gotta revisit what the fuck I'm doing with my life. Looks like Vol. What are we doing with Vol? Why is this taking so long? All right, we'll get out of that. We'll get out of that. All right, let me update. Let me update. Hang on, where's Swingers? All right, we did that. I think I did that at least. Okay, that was fucking brutal. Dude, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Is it appropriate to play this back down? Is it appropriate? Equity Hub. $570, $565, $559, $565, $565, $560. $560. So people are playing back down to there. $560. $560. Oh, brother. Technically, the fuckers. They're really going to make me do this. They're really going to make me do this. Oh, do I want to do this? Oh, what do we have here? Okay, where are they playing? Where are people playing on the SPY? On the SPY, they are playing to what? To what? To what? To what? All right, what's the SPY trading at? The SPY is trading at 643. So it cracked that. So you have 640 and you have 635. Interesting. What do you have? You have 640 and you have 635, and we're trading at 643. So 640 is right there. 35 is down there. Oh, we are cracking. Bitcoin's getting fucking rocked here. A better entry was up there. Where's IBIT? Actually, where's BITX? BITX 47. 40, and Bitcoin's been weak. Do we really think Bitcoin could keep going here? Just crack that low. Lower highs, lower lows. Not even that far away risk. 3%. So on BITX, that's double. So 6% move potentially. Fuck. 47. Dude, What the fuck is going on in the market? The Mag 7 is just puking. It's all fuck. There might be some support at 30, 35 right here. You have some, what is this? You have sold puts and then you have long puts. So this appears to be some form of a debit spread. No, credit spread, sorry. Credit spread between 35 and 30. Some form of a credit spread. Fuck, dude. Well, that got crazy real quick. That got crazy real quick. All right. Go a little funky there, team. I wonder if there is technically the unemployment report next Friday, but the market is not digging what's going on. Not in the slightest digging what's going on right now. What I find to be the most concerning is actually on the NDX chart. So we put in this lower high and are snapping the trend line that saved us once, twice, 3 times. I guess if you wanted to, you could set up a parallel line as a confirmation, but it feels like that's our warning shot. That's the serious firing, and then from there, it feels like a pretty evident play back down to 23,000 flat. Feels like a pretty evident play. Wow. This is what I'm most concerned about because it officially is a lower high, and the question is, are we about to go for this low? So obviously, we've been building out higher highs, higher lows. We pumped up. It appears to be a lower high, and now we broke that. Now we're coming to here, or that would be my next watch. And if that breaks, I don't see what would stop this all the way down to the low from Wednesday the 20th. That's happening as Nvidia showing weakness, Bitcoin showing weakness, Avago showing weakness. Netflix is almost going yesterday, got smacked. Tesla's turning. Palantir's flat. Apple's looking decent. Meta put in a lower high. Microsoft's doing nothing. MicroStrategy is looking weak. Another lower high. Coin, lower highs, same lows. That might snap. Watch 291. Robinhood, same thing. Officially a lower high. Watching the support at 98.99. Rum is getting hit. DJT is getting hit. Soxel putting in a lower high. This stock is such dog shit. Ripple's breaking down. Bonds. Oil. Gold. Gold's picking up. The VIX is picking up. ETH is getting hit. BMNR is getting hit. We definitely don't need that one. We don't need this. We don't need this. Wow. We might be seeing a changing of trend. The one thing where if for some reason you're holding on and you're no, I still want to be bullish. Well, first of all, just understand we cracked the previous day's low. That's generically not a good sign. But the one thing you might want to watch if you're still holding out to be bullish is this right here. This, you do have gamma support between 35 and 30. So a bounce off of there is not absurd. Also, we're at 50. That is it's a hedge wall. It's a spot gamma implied 1 day move. No one would be surprised if we bounce off of 50. No one would be surprised if we bounce off of 35. However, if we go into this holiday weekend and people don't want their positions and we see some frothiness and we go all the way down to 6,400, that's problematic. If SPX legitimate, right here, we're trying to bounce on 50, we overshot it, blah blah blah. Next target would be 25, all the way down here 400 is the next one. If for some reason later on today, if this is snapped, that's a serious problem. That's a lot of option support breaking. That is vol picking up. So yeah, it's one thing if we drift down here to 25, whatever. You made a good day trade, scalp trade, whatever. Have at it. Congrats. But in terms of like major impactful levels, if in the event that today is so bad we get to 400, that's problematic. Do I think it's likely? No. We would need, I mean, we're already down 0.8%. It would have to drop an additional 0.75 from here. So it's unlikely. I just want to call that out before we end today's show, because just in the off chance that something like that happens, and then you start pairing that together with the technical breakdown in NDX here with the flow getting fucking smashed, you're talking about like potentially like legit issues here. So I just want to call that out, but you do have some key levels to watch before you might be that concerned. But obviously on SpotGem, you could also check this out. Anyway, shout out to Have for winning the race, and then shout out to Jersey for Life, Rob, Bendy, Matthew, and Lou for all winning an Apex account. I will be DMing the 5 of you later today, and then Have, however you told me to reach out to you, I will be reaching out to you as well to give you that cold hard cash. Remember, the Apex deal ends September 2nd. So basically today's really whatever, the second to last trading day, but you don't have much time because of the extended weekend. The market is closed on Monday. So pay attention to all of this. Pay attention. That's pretty much what I have for you folks. Happy Friday. I did not have the best day. Bad beats. I was short and I somehow still fucking lost money, which is insane. Do you know how much money I would be up now? I went short there, got topped out, and then if I just waited, if only I had waited. If only baloney. If only baloney. That's so frustrating. It would have, that's so incredibly, oh man, I'm just looking at these charts right now and it's just brutal. Bad beats, profit targets hit anyway. Oh, that's brutal. Brutal. Anyway, have a beautiful Friday. I hope you make a bunch of money. I hope you trade better than I did. If you're a winner in any shape or form, congrats to you. If you're a winner of any of the giveaways, I'll be reaching out to you. Enjoy your long weekend. It is a Labor Day weekend, and we'll be chatting soon. Have a good one. Thank you. Peace.